Peace, greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. Make sure y'all hit that like button, family. Share the video out. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe now. Hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can become a part of the notification nation, and you will be alerted and notified every time that the brothers and I at Be the Power go live. What's going on, family? Let me share the link out real quick. We're gonna talk about some stuff tonight, and it was based on um a tweet. This guy just responded and said, "Oh, y'all weren't man enough to have me on us." Oh, you sure? Well, sure. I'll just send him the link. So hopefully this guy comes on tonight. So let me there was a bunch of stuff I was supposed to do beforehand. Let me get all of that stuff straightened out. Boom. Matter of fact, let me share the Facebook that we are live. Let me make a couple shares. Make sure y'all hitting that like button, family. I'm about to make an announcement about the book club as well. For those that didn't see any of my posts on social media, whether it was Facebook or Twitter, we are pushing the book club back to October 3rd. I'm just gonna admit I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. So October 3rd will be the book date club. So let's give some shout outs, man. Let's give some shout outs. Bond Dog, peace. I see you in the building. Asim Majetti, if I'm saying that correctly, or Asim Majet, peace. Vince Jefferson, peace. We got Brother Josh in the chat. He should be joining us shortly. King Musa said, uh-oh, this might be a show I disagree with. These good brothers most definitely tuning in, and that's okay. We could, we disagree at times. Everybody's not going to agree 100% on everything. We just try to back up everything that we teach over here with the data, the research, the statistics, the historical records. That's all. Sister Riri, peace. Conscious Funk, peace. Brother Cato, peace. Brother Carlton Banks, peace. He said a word on titles. I actually did fix my title because of that. Carlton Banks, thank you. So tonight's live stream, peace, Sister Juanita Murray. Tonight's live stream, my camera is off. I'll just look short. I am looking short. That's because my camera is like too far up in my seat. I don't know. Is too far down. But tonight's live stream, we're going to touch on this comment Josh and the bros was going at. Some guy, what did he call himself? Q something. Let me see. He just responded to me. Hold on. The Q pill. He said you wasn't man enough to bring me on, but you tough enough to mention me. Laugh out loud. You can get obliterated in any debate, anytime in front of your audience. So matter of fact, I want to put the YouTube link on his page as well. So just bear with me. Bear with me 1 second, fam. Oh, he must he don't know, but if he jumps on, he's gonna find out. If he jumps on, he's definitely gonna find out. But he don't know. How the old Christians say, bless his heart. Bless his heart. Come, I hope he's watching. Come through, Q, Suave Q, aka the Q pill. No, look, seems to be one of those black conservative types. So we're waiting. We're gonna wait for him to come on, and I'm gonna just share this link out in a few more places. Boom, and we're done. But first, I want to pull this up. Let me pull this up. We got to support Freedmen business. I want to give a shout out to our sister BTP Riri. For those of you who are in the New York and New Jersey area, I mean, even if you're close by from Philly or parts of PA, make sure y'all support our sister, the Lobster Queen. We need to start supporting and promoting our Freedmen owned businesses. Our sister Riri has been a contributor and an admin here at Be the Power virtually since the beginning. Her brother is one of the members of Be the Power, brother Ali. So, we want to make sure that we're supporting our sisters. So if you are in the New York, New Jersey area, make sure y'all support our sister. You could order, they have a phone number on the site. You can go through Uber Eats, I believe it is. And what else? What else did brother Ali say? Yep. I think just Uber Eats. And I want to share some more pictures as well. Let me stop sharing this. I mean, the sisters' food looks so good. It'd be testing my veganism, y'all. I said if I ever went back to, eating any flesh, it would be fish. So I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see if y'all can see that. Yeah, look, my sister gets busy. See if I could expand those. Boom. I mean, the sister gets busy, and we need to make sure that we are supporting Freedmen owned businesses. And our sister, the Lobster Queen, she is a chef, and she's doing the damn thing, family. So make sure, again, if you are in the New York, New Jersey area, y'all get at our sister Riri, the Lobster Queen. Pull up the website. I'm gonna put a link to the website in the chat, thelobsterqueen.com, so that my people that's in the area, even if you're visiting New York, New Jersey, any place in the tri-state area anytime soon, make sure y'all stop by and visit our sister Riri, BTP Riri, and the Lobster Queen, chicken and waffles. I mean, the sister does, I mean, come on. It just looks that it just got that professional look to it, and like I said, the sister is doing her thing, man. And brother Ali Bey is there with our sister, making sure that her business is running. And we want to make sure that we are supporting Freedmen businesses. We don't want to just say black businesses, because we don't do aggregated blackness over here. Now, I mean, we support everybody, but we just got to be Freedmen first. Let me not say we don't do it over here. We support when the need is there, but it's Freedmen first, family. Point blank, period. It is Freedmen first. So shout out to our sister Riri. Support the business. Okay, so on to tonight's topic. We got brother Ali joining us in the building. Peace, bro. What's good?
Peace. What's good, man?
Hey, man, let me put my headphones on. Waiting for Josh.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Josh. Like it wasn't Josh's thread. It was Brother Logic's thread. And
Mm-hmm.
Q Pill guy. I guess they he's got the black conservative type. He thought he was going to score some points off of Brother Logic's tweet. And the brothers went on there and absolutely shut him down. Josh just killed them on the thread. So I mean, yeah, man. What before we get into all of this, what's your thoughts, brother Ali?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for right now. I'm looking at the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Statistics, right, which
Mm-hmm.
is where Josh pulled that particular data from.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a problem with it. He, according to him, there was some sort of a problem with the data. I think he tried to say one of the things he tried to say was that the data was outdated and we don't know how to read stats, and we went and got some
Uh,
old stats. So my thing to him basically was, well, find the new stats that undermines the old stats and proves the point that Josh is making wrong. That's all. It's really
that's
simple.
all
It's
you
not
gotta
even that
do.
hard to do. Just post it on the thread. Don't tell me what I don't know or what we're not doing. Just put on the thread the right information, and don't be up here Twitter jaw jack, and just put the stuff up there. That's all. I mean,
That's
you know
it.
how we do. Just put it up.
That's all you have to do. I don't understand why it's so hard for many of these people to show and prove. I mean, if you're gonna clout chase, then we're gonna give you the light that you're looking for. It's just as simple as that.
Now I have the actual special report pulled up. It was from November of 2014, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you things haven't changed that much because circumstances haven't changed.
That's right.
The level of wealth, the level of household income, the rate of household income, none of those things have changed significantly to the point where it's going to actually change the outcome of these kinds of special reports. So if there is an updated one, which I'm looking for, I'm going to see if there's one that came after 2014 and see if there's any significant change between the statistics in the 2014 and anything that came afterwards. If there's not, then this is the latest one, because they don't do these things every single year. Right, some of these things are done like every 10 years or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. I don't know how they do this particular report, but I'm looking for an updated one to see if there is one that actually exists. If it's not, then this is the latest information, and this is what we're going off of. This is not something that we made up.
That's right. And see, they don't want to get into the underlying data. See, they
Facts.
are practitioners of Thomas Sowell's rhetoric, right? There go Josh right there. So I'm
Indeed.
glad you jumped on, Josh, because I'm about to go into the tweet, and then you can come in from there. Peace, everybody just joining. Sister BB Rodriguez, Sister Shanna, Chris, Emanike. Who else did I miss? Brother Tyrone Davis. Peace to all the fam that just joined in. Hey, Josh, the brother basically said that I was a coward, that we're cowards, and that if he was to debate us live, he would obliterate us. So I sent him the link, this direct StreamYard link, and I sent him the YouTube video link. So hopefully he's watching right now, but we're going to show him why word be the power and why we do what we do. So let's get into he retweeted Brother Logic. Let's, matter of fact, go directly to Brother Logic's tweet. This joint went viral, Brother Logic's tweet. 85% of white people that are killed in America each year are murdered by other white people. Yet we never hear the term white on white crime. Like this is where listening comes in and
Mm-hmm.
plays a key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black on black crime is a term that's been coined specifically for black people to create feelings of self-hatred and disunity within our race. It's a tactic to divide and conquer. Michelle Alexander wrote a book called The New Jim Crow. From the preface to the introduction to the usually some prefaces are introductions. I can't remember if it says preface or introduction. To the closing chapter, she details and highlights how blacks in America were made criminals by this justice system. And we're going to touch on that a little bit later. We're going to touch on the 13th Amendment and that clause, that loophole in it that basically created a de facto slavery. But we're going to just provide a little detail to it. So this brother, Suave Q, aka Suave Q, aka the Q pill, thought
I
that he
I got a question for that brother.
I
If he
know.
shows up, you already
I
know what
know what that
time it
question
You
is.
is
already
too.
know
I
what
know what it
question.
is.
Y'all know what we gonna ask first. So he says, I thought it was because black Americans commit. Now, first, wait, let me pause before I read this.
Mm,
Let's go back to the meme. Let's
mm.
go back to yet 85% of white people that are killed in America each year are murdered by other white people. Yet you never hear the term white on white crime. Now, if a white person had posted this, we would have still cleaned that person up. Of course, it would have been a neo-Confederate, right? Today's Republican Party, but this brother,
I don't know that he's a brother, man.
Right? We can only assume. We
Yeah.
can only assume that he's one of us. And when we say one of us, we mean of freedmen ancestry here in the United States. No, this brother takes it upon himself to retweet one of the best political minds in, I believe, I'm going to say, in this whole space, that has a whole team of sharp political minds with them. So he made several mistakes. Number one, caping for white folks. That's number one. That's the first mistake that he made.
Straight off the bat, right off the bat.
The second mistake he made was trying to come at somebody from BETHEPOWER, because we gets busy. Let me read the whole tweet, and we're going to run through it, and I want y'all to go in. Oh, I thought it was because Black Americans commit over half of America's overall violent crime, to be exact, on mostly other blacks, while being only 1/6 the population of whites who commit significantly less. One is more a prominent and more prevalent phenomenon than the other. That's interesting, because if 85% of white people that are killed in America each year are murdered by other white people, I don't understand how someone even attempts to downplay that as something insignificant. There's a problem there, right? But so, you want to say something before I go to Josh's tweet where he just start the cleanup process?
Well, yeah, right, because listen, it's built on a bad foundation. His argument, number one, is built on a bad foundation because
he's in the chat. Hold
on.
It
presupposes.
My bad, Ali. He's in the chat.
Right.
Jump on. You got the link, Q-Pill. Jump on. Come on, go ahead, Ali.
It presupposes that Black Americans mean something. That's the first problem. And that's the problem that many people have, because white people have programmed them, or Europeans have programmed them with this whole racial classification thing. One of the things I tried to point out to him on the thread was this stuff is based on the idea, right? He probably didn't get what I was saying, but this stuff is based on the idea that, quote unquote, Black people are all one thing. That's false.
That's right.
That's false. The prison population in America from the turn of the century, the early 1900s until today, has changed significantly. From the early part of the 1900s, mostly white men in prison. Mostly white men in prison, like 90-something% were white men. The real jump begins to occur with the influx of Black immigrants. So that's something that has to be considered. That's right. It changes with the influx of Black immigrants. And so what I said was, it's just too bad that the FBI and the Bureau of Prisons, etc., does not disaggregate this quote unquote Blackness so that we could actually see who's committing these crimes. Is it actually Black/African Americans? Or is it some other kind of so-called Black people in this country who is doing this? I don't like it when people say things like Black Americans, because when you say Black Americans commit over half of America's crime, that's not an accurate statement, because Black Americans consist of Haitians, it consists of Jamaicans, it consists of Trinidadians, people from Barbados, it consists of people from the African continent. But what happens when you do this Black American thing is everything gets put on African Americans, right? And when people say African Americans, they know African Americans to be the people who are the descendants of freedmen in this country, not those people from the Caribbean and not those people from the African continent. So that's a bullshit racist talking point, and what it does is make everybody one big nigga, and that's not true. That's not what we are. You got other people who came here with their cultures, and a lot of them have brought their criminal culture with them, and now because we're the biggest black, so-called black group in this country, we have to eat the shit of every other black group that comes here committing crime, bringing their criminal culture, their thought culture, and everything else with them. That's bullshit. So I said this stuff needs to be disaggregated. We need to separate from other so-called black people, and those particular statistics and the data that's being collected by the FBI and the Bureau of Prisons needs to be broken down by ethnicity so we can see who the hell is really doing the shit in this country.
That's right. That's right. So, Josh, I want you to come in, but I want to pull your tweet up first. So what you did was, you basically delivered, the death blow with your post. You said violent crime will always be higher amongst the poorer people. 100. Median black family net worth is $2,000, with the bottom 50% combined having negative net worth. Yet, controlling for poverty, white folks have higher violent crime rates. Please try to nigger explain this away. And Josh posted up this excellent chart, right? And if you look at this chart comes from the what is it, Josh? Damn, I had it pulled up. Did I close it out?
It's coming from the Bureau of what is it?
I'm about to pull it down. The Bureau of
Justice Statistics. Yeah,
that's right. So, I mean, so what it shows in this graph is everything, right? Because it shows the crime rates based on income. So you have poor, low income, mid income, high income, and white folks who are poor commit more crimes than blacks and Hispanics, as they're called, who are poor.
And I want to add something to that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when we're talking about wealth, we're not just talking about income. Those are two different type of things.
That's right.
Wealth is talking about what you get to accumulate now and what you get to accumulate throughout the generations. Income is just what you're making on a weekly basis, monthly, yearly, whatever the case may be, right? That's like your job. That's what you have coming in. Wealth gives you some sense of security to where if your income gets cut off, you still have a mechanism to liquidate something to pay your bills, to eat, to survive, and if you think about the fact that this is on top of being a group that has no wealth. That's why I've put the wealth information in there. We're a group with no wealth, and still we have no wealth, and we have a high percentage of us that are low income to poverty level, and still we have a lower rate of crime when you control for poverty than white Americans.
That's right.
So, and then I like how they did this data set, because they even broke it down from being in like a rural setting to being in a suburban setting to being in the urban setting. You know that through redlining, through the history, you got to do the history. See, if you don't have a history that's rooted in America, you're not going to understand the history of how they packed us in the cities and packed us in the projects and in the ghettos of America. So even considering how we've been urbanized, we still have a lower crime rate amongst the poor in the urban area. So, man, all the stuff about, us being in the ghetto and all, before we were even over there, guess what? They had Italian mafia, they had an Irish mob, they had all these other mobs, right? So there's been violent white crime. And let me say one more thing to that original pushback when the dude was talking about black on black crime. Black on black crime was the quickest, easiest, go-to move to deflect from white on black crime. See, because when you're talking about black on black violent crime, you have to account, look at the rural black, you know what I'm saying? And you see as less crime. If you think about white on black crime has been the main crime element of the country from the inception. You know,
Facts.
slavery was a violent white on black crime. Jim Crowism, everything, the policies, that was an economically violent crime on Black America. If you talk about lynching, violent crime, and what's going on now, even with the police, is violent crime against Black Americans. So it's always, it's just a deflection. Go ahead.
Let me jump in because the brother said he only has like 10 to 15 minutes. So we got Suave Q on. So Suave Q is the purpose that we're choosing to aim our proverbial guns at tonight because of the tweet that he made. So before we go any further with this conversation, my brother Ali has a question for you, Suave Q.
Can you fellas hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
We hear you fine.
Okay.
My question is this, Suave Q, and we ask this of everybody that we talk to, particularly people who are of African ancestry, obviously. Where are your people from?
My people are originally from America.
So your people, you're saying your family descends from those people who were emancipated by the 13th Amendment in 1865. That's what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
All right. So you're on Be the Power now.
Okay. I appreciate you fellas having me on. I no animosity. Just a little background about me. I study psychology, been studying for the past decade, and I have found myself, getting in these political debates. I was on my own show a couple years ago. I'm a young brother though. I'm 28, but I stay doing research. I stay active, and in the political climate with everything that's going on, I understand that racial tensions are high and everything is flaring. So I focus on trying to be objective and remaining logical and not hyper focusing on victimhood and blaming the white man and white supremacy and things of that nature. So when you
sound like you was getting ready to say the white devil.
I wasn't gonna say that because I don't talk like that. But when I seen the tweet, the tweet by you guys, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The human race is the human race. When I seen the tweet by you guys, you guys went on to proceed as if I said white on white crime was not a thing. I never said white on white crime was not a thing. I simply stated what black on black crime was simply referring to. And in that sense, I was saying that the fact that we, to be as minute as we are as a population, as minuscule as we are as a population, whether they break it down by who came from where or who's not a foundational Black American, we still commit violent crime at a rate so much higher than what we see other races commit. And it's just one of those things. See, like but
hold on, brother. Hold on, because I know you said you're short on time, so we want to try to get some questions in.
Okay.
And try to have a little volley, right? So, what compelled you to, after reading a tweet about white on white crime, as a black man in America, or I don't know if you consider yourself colorless because you said the human race, so I don't know, but what we perceive that you are or would be considered a black man or an African American in the United States of America. What compelled you to retweet that post about white on white crime to highlight black on black crime?
The fact that it's back and forth about white versus black. That's what it is. For me, it's not a white versus black thing. And I think that most people, that's why the polarity when it comes to racial tension is so high, because everybody wants to blame one race or the other race. And it's like, okay, hold on now. We have to look. I'm all about accountability. I'm a coach as well. I'm a behavioral coach. I'm all about accountability. I'm all about introspection and looking in the mirror and seeing where it starts with you. What can you change?
That's powerful.
And when it comes to our race, when it comes to the black race, individuality is what creates the community. The community is comprised of individuals first, then we create the community. So when you have individuals who exhibit certain tendencies, who exhibit certain behavioral traits, and it starts to seep through and rub off generations down to where, okay, you have like from the single mother, like single mothers are more likely to raise Black men who end up in jail. When you see things like that happen, we have to go back to the individual choices and decisions that individuals make in order to understand why something has become
okay.
so
let me okay, cool. So let me ask you, which books have you read on the subjects of race, or even not necessarily just race in and of itself? Like I have this book right here. Let me hold this up. White by Law, right? So what this book highlights is how Europeans in America became white people, because technically nobody is Black and nobody is white.
Correct.
It is a term that they created for themselves so that they can give themselves superior status. So
back in the 1600s, yes, back in the 1600s.
It's all cool because they still call themselves white today. But
right.
I can keep it on that. On that. Have you read any books on race construction?
I haven't read any books on race construction.
Okay, so have you? Okay, hold on.
I have.
Go ahead.
I do a lot of scientific peer-reviewed articles and studies. And
okay, so from which journals?
The literature itself.
Well, okay, hold on. Which peer-reviewed journals are you reading from?
I read from the American Sociological Association, Psychological Association. I have a brother that actually does what you guys do, and he's actually a Psych D, but he's in you guys' field. So he talks about white supremacy from a psychological perspective and psychoanalyzing the subconscious and how we were conditioned by the white man to believe certain things and self-hatred and everything like that. That brother.
Okay, okay. Hold on. So you've read journals from these specific. I forget what you said that fast. My bad, because I'm trying to listen to everything else and see where you're going at the same time, because I don't want you to move past the point. So in your studies of psychology, you were able to make the determination that what exactly about race?
Race is a sociological construct to begin with.
Mm-hmm. It is. That's a fact. Fact.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
So okay,
let me just add this.
Go ahead.
It's a construct. Brother. It's a sociological construct, but it is a construct that has real life implications and real life fallout. Right?
I don't disagree with that.
We can't ignore that.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Okay, so in your psychological studies, the ultimate underlying question is, did you conclude that racism doesn't exist?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely
not. So racism does exist.
Racism exists. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Okay. I agree. My mission is, because it's a sociological construct and we are so deep in the negative effects that it has brought upon us, is to, as much as possible, get individuals to understand that everything was built on a lie. There is no, I don't agree with a supreme race. I don't think white people are superior to Black people in any shape, form, or fashion. So that's my whole ordeal. So in my mission, if I can help people see that race itself is a lie, then we can find unity amongst each other as simply seeing each other as human beings.
Okay. So that's something.
That's something else, and that's a Herculean task, man. That's something that some of the greatest minds weren't able to even achieve, man. So I wish you luck on that one.
I got time, and you know what? I'm not gonna stop.
Okay, cool. So look, why didn't you then tweet about Hispanic on Hispanic crime, or Asian on Asian crime?
Let me add to this. Not just tweet about that secondarily, but primarily, why didn't you just tweet that you understood the point that was being made by the brother in his original tweet. Why change the subject? Why straw man? Why talk? Because to me, when you start talking about, well, what about black on black crime? Well, that's what you're doing when somebody says something is trying to make a point that, let's say, for instance, the whole thing about people saying, you know what? Black lives do matter, even if you don't think so. We know that our lives matter. And they say, well, all lives matter. Well, police lives matter, etc., etc. That's straw manning. And that's people really trying to undermine and degrade what it is that you're actually trying to say. Right. So the point that the brother was trying to make, there was an actual point to the original tweet. He wasn't just saying that. He was trying to make a point. The original point that he was trying to make is that people don't understand that when they're talking about black on black crime, they're doing that based on the fact that Europeans have made that into a thing in an attempt to ignore the fact that they commit crimes and other people commit crimes, etc. Black people being public enemy number one since the time that this country was founded.
Okay, can I interject?
We understand. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, for you, exactly what I'm saying is what you just said. You actually proved my point. See, I don't agree with the idea that was made to take the spot off of white on white crime. I don't agree with that. That's where we disagree. That's where we fundamentally disagree.
But then how did I prove your point if you're disagreeing with me?
because black on black, because for one, you guys said black on black crime is a myth. It's not a myth, because that means it doesn't exist. You said black on black crime is a myth. It isn't a myth, because we can see in cities like Chicago, where I'm from, I was in the 4th most dangerous city in the US. I lost several friends to gun violence over neighborhood beefs, as irrational as hell. Had nothing to do with the white man. The white man didn't pull up and do a drive-by on my bro. The white man didn't do that.
Okay.
So what I'm
saying,
saying,
I got something to say about that, but go ahead.
In the title,
when he finished, you come in, Josh.
In the title, it says black on black crime is a myth. That is a lie, because that
hold on. It's called I didn't say it is a myth. It says the myth of black on black crime.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not. And let me hold on, because we do this over here, right?
I do this too.
Okay, well, we're gonna show you why we do it better than you do.
I doubt it. Let's go.
Well, I mean, we're already proving it, because
I don't see it. But
you're just jumbling on a bunch of nonsense that we've heard 1,000 times all over.
Over here.
And the only thing that we're going to do is show you, and then we're going to get to the underlying causes. We're going to get to why Chicago is the way that Chicago is. So I'm so glad that you brought Chicago up. So let's get into
as if Chicago is representative of the 40-something, 50 million black people in the United States. These Europeans, you using white Republic, you using white people's talking points to use Chicago as the face of Black America, when that is one city where some black people in that city are doing things to other black people in that city. That doesn't represent Black America, but y'all want to pretend that it does. That's BS.
So, Josh, you want to say something before I get into this? Matter of fact, because we're going to get into this.
I want to say something
tonight. Go ahead,
yeah,
bro.
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to see when we brought that's why I put the data in there. I put those statistics in there that came from the Bureau of Justice statistics, and that pretty much disproved what you were just saying. You were saying that we have a higher rate of crime than white America, and I say no. When you control for poverty, because you're gonna have higher rates of crime when you have higher rates of poverty. Period. It doesn't matter what the group is, right? And we don't even need to get into the generational disadvantage that we've been put at through policy and through racial violence. To put us in the position we are today. We just talking about just straight. If you are more poor, if you have less money, well,
you breaking up, Josh.
Gonna have more crime within those.
Josh, your audio going in.
More violent crime. Oh, can you? Okay, is this any better? Hold on. Let me put it. Let me turn my.
Yeah, your audio is going in and out, bro. So this is one of the, while you getting that fixed, let's go through this real quick. So this
testing,
is
testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. This
all
is
right, all right. So I was
you
just
want to finish. I got round your point out, bro.
Yeah, I just want to finish real quick. I just want to say, so you came back on here and you said again that Black Americans, we have a disproportionately high amount of violent crime compared to white Americans. I say, well, obviously, if you have more poverty, you're going to have more crime. Period. So first, we're not even going to deal with why. Well, we're going to deal with it, but I didn't have time to factor in how we got to have a way disproportionately amount of poverty compared to white Americans, wealthlessness and poverty, right? But when you control for poverty, guess what? It shows that we have lower violent crime rates than white folks. So how do you reconcile that? Because when we see people that immediately come in and try to take the spotlight off of this and say something in reverse that try to paint us in a negative light, when we're simply using that statement to defend ourselves, it makes me feel like I get like a Larry Elderish, Candace Owens-ish type of vibe.
He's definitely. We went through his page. That's what he's on. That's exactly what he's on. That's what he's on. So no, go ahead. You finished?
Go ahead.
No, okay. So I want to get to this article. I got a bunch of stuff to pull up, and I don't want to overlap too much. You know what I'm saying? I want us to have a back and forth flow.
Go in.
But I like when we get these type of people on, we have to school them because we have to break this cycle of our people because they are disaffected Democrats, right? Like we are. We're just intelligent enough to know that we're not going to jump out of the frying pan, which is the Democratic Party, and into the fire, which is the Republican Party. We're not going to do that. So this is the myth of the black on black crime epidemic. Crime, this was published July 29th, 2013. I got another article. I got a bunch of stuff to pull up. I probably won't pull all of it up, but we got to get into some of this. Crime is a component of poverty, opportunity, and proximity, not racial pathology, right? Black on black crime. So hence the myth of the black on black crime epidemic. So there's key words being used here: poverty, opportunity, and proximity. That mean that Brother Logic showed that whites, because they're around other white people, commit a lot of crimes on white people. Per capita, it's not as bad, right? But it's still crazy high. It's still a crazy high number. Josh then showed a tweet of how when you control for poverty, when you single out criminality due to people's impoverished conditions despite their race, whites have a higher crime rate.
Not only the race, despite despite whether they're in the urban, suburban, or rural areas. It doesn't even matter.
That's right. It doesn't matter. They lead. See, this is what happens when you don't know how to read the data and the statistics, and you just move.
Can I refute?
Off of, say it again.
Can I refute because you're wrong again?
Yeah,
all of you.
You can refute after I get finished.
All right.
So it's great to see people like those here and there, many of whom who advocate cuts to institutions and policies proven to curb crime, like community groups, education, and job training. Finally noticing that crime in black communities is a problem that should be addressed. However, they are 20 years late. While they slept, African-American community leaders, parents, churches, and activists, having already I got New York Times articles. I got a bunch of articles to pull up that I could go with this as well. Notice the problem.
Yeah, he's going to say that they're left-leaning.
No, it's all good.
Those are the kinds of things they say.
We gonna let him do that.
I'm not with them. You can take me out of that equation.
Nah, you are with them, but let me put you on mute. Let me put you on mute while we reading over here. Chill, bro. While they slept, okay, so having already noticed the problem, have been tirelessly working to make the communities they love safer. Jamel Bowie recently wrote poignantly how black on black crime is being falsely framed as a distinctly African American pathology rather than a component of poverty, opportunity, and proximity. If America is to have this much touted quote unquote conversation on race, it is important the dialogue itself adhere to the guiding principle of being rooted in facts. So it looks at these crime rates, the statistics, right? So it shows that, yes, because of our impoverished condition, if you go back to 1973, we had these high rates of crime. The crack epidemic hits around 1986. So you can see that spike up right after the 1980 mark, and then you start to see a decline. You start to see it kick back up and go back down, and then you see
black people brought crack
drop
into the United States. Did you know that black people went and brought crack?
Yeah,
and all these things?
They went and got the boats. There was no CIA involvement. There was no Iran-Contra schemes. All of that stuff is made up conspiracy theories. Black people went right over there and did business with Colombians, got the cocaine. They went to college to learn chemistry so that they could learn how to mix cocaine with biocarbonate. What is it? I forgot the.
Yeah, but finish your point, bro.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Sodium bicarbonate. Yeah, we went to college just to learn how to cook crack and then dropped out and became crack dealers. So this just shows the incidence of violent crime victimization per 1,000 individuals age 12 and older. So, the article goes on. For many years, countless poor African Americans across the country tried to draw attention to high crime rates, guns, gang activity, and drug abuse that pervaded their neighborhoods. The Black urban poor, through community institutions, churches, and individual efforts, were most often met with neglect, divestment of public resources, and outright disdain. This is what the government did. This is what the books bring up, that this guy has never read, that he wants to, because he want to claim all of this stuff as leftist. But most of these articles, and I'm gonna pull another one up, is coming from books of people that have no partisan motives at all. All they do is show the history of how things got the way they are with our people. You're gonna respond, bro. Just give me 1 second. So basically, this story is breaking down, how the government neglected to clean up the problem that it started, because the government created black ghettos. And I'm gonna pull that article up in a few minutes after we let the brother. Yeah, we're gonna let the brother say what he got to say, because he said I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. You're gonna have to say the statistics and the data is wrong, and you can't refute that because you have nothing.
It's y'all interpretation of the data.
The only way that somebody could say that white people don't play a hand in the poverty and the crime that's occurring in black communities is someone who does not understand the history of black Americans and the plight of our people in this country. That's the only way you could say that them people don't play a hand in what's going on in the inner cities. But go ahead, make the case for them, cape for white people. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm
no, bro. No, hold on. You said you had time, so give me a few minutes. Let's get through this, and we're gonna let you try.
I'm waiting on my lady. I'm waiting on my lady. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. So let me finish this part, and then you can go in. Black on black crime facts. Black on black homicides have decreased by 67% in 20 years, a sharper rate of decrease than white on white homicide, which is why these people, white neo-Confederates, and they're what we call black conservative puppets, have to focus on Chicago. Because of the high crime rate and homicide rates in Chicago, they try to use the anomaly to the precipitous drop in crime rate in black neighborhoods all across this nation to make it seem like that this is what's going on in Chicago is going on everywhere. According to FBI statistics, 7,361 blacks were killed by fellow African Americans in 1991. That's a lot. In 2011, that's 20 years later, it dropped dramatically to 2,447 African Americans. Still a lot, But I got the statistics for white folks and how many of their own folks they killed, so I can pull that up in a minute. Among black youth, rates of robbery and serious property offenses are the lowest in more than 40 years. Racial inequality in the criminal justice system facts. African Americans were 2 times as likely to be arrested and almost 4 times as likely to experience the use of force during encounters with police. See, I ain't really got to go into that part. In the federal system, black offenders received sentences that are 10% longer than white offenders for the same crime. I got an article that I could pull up on that. 5 times as many whites are using drugs as, wait, let me repeat that. 5 times as many whites are using drugs as African Americans. Yet, African Americans are sent to prison for drug offenses at 10 times the rate of whites. African Americans are incarcerated at nearly 6 times. Like, I can stop right there. I mean, because when it start getting to controlling for all the other factors, etc., I'm going to stop right there. Go ahead, brother. Refute that.
Okay. So the first thing my other guy said was poverty. When you control for poverty, it's relative poverty. Relative poverty is the actual factor. It's not poverty itself, because relative poverty means that the income levels, the neighborhoods are closer. So when you have someone of it, like say outside of a city where there's wealthy people or people of higher income living, and then 4 miles down the same road, 2 miles down the same road, there's poverty right there. Those people who are better off or more well off, they can still rob those people. They can still get to those people. Poverty as a whole means the state of that whole community within a certain radius. It's relative poverty. It's not poverty itself. That's number one.
Man, come
number
on,
two.
yo, come on,
number
man.
two.
That's not what the Bureau of Justice labor statistics is.
See, this is what they do. They make up stuff. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish making up stuff.
Again.
Wait. Where are you citing from? Wait, I gotta ask you that. Where are you citing this information from?
Bro, I'm a psychologist myself.
No. Where are you? Because I showed you how
Come on, man. Come on.
Where are you citing this information from?
Actual studies.
What
psychology
studies? Name them.
Psychology studies.
All right, go ahead, bro. Finish your point.
Anyway, a psychology study on poverty.
And this is a brother. This is another. This is the brother Logic. He's from Chicago as well.
One to understand the other. They're intertwined. And you guys, if you guys went to school.
No, hold on, stop. Hold on. You're an educated person, so you should know better. When we ask you, what are you citing? You don't say, I'm a psychologist, I'm citing studies. You say, according to such and such report, gathered in 20 whatever year date.
Yeah, I would.
These are the numbers based upon that information. So what you're doing is guessing. You're just throwing numbers out and wanting us to take it on face value. You're not even. Stop.
I'm not at a computer desk right now. I'm not at a computer desk right now.
Stop. That's your fault.
I'm not at a computer desk right now.
That's
you jumped on.
Mute the brother, Bree. He's being rude.
It's not, because I had no idea nobody was
being rude. Mute him. He's being rude. So all right. So before we do this is not them other channels. You know what I'm saying?
He
the brother. That's fine. But before you come on here, be prepared. If you're not prepared, say, family, I'm not prepared, because we're not going to waste the people's time listening to bunch of bullshit from somebody like who got a whole bunch of excuses. You don't even have your face up here. We don't even know who we talking to. People want to come up here and play hide and go seek when we go live and all of that. We don't got time for that. The Freedmen are serious business. We cite sources so you can go vet them sources, see where the bias was at. Because if you don't know who conducted the study, you don't know what kind of bias is going to be in there. You understand? So this dude say, I'm a psychologist, and he's talking to us about, you know what I'm saying, poverty and whatnot. I need to know what study was that conducted on, and were you a part of that study? Because people do that all the time. Oh, they want to throw their credentials out. I'm this, I'm that, but it's not relative to the subject matter. You know what I'm saying? So
alleged credentials. We don't know whether he got them credentials, bro.
Games, man.
So it was a
hey one more thing, bro. One more thing. I wanted to ask him this question. I wanted to ask him, so if you're a psychologist and you have seen the statistics where we show that white folks have when you control for poverty. I don't know. He went into some whole rant on relative poverty and all. Look, man, that ain't what the Bureau of Justice Statistics says. But if you're a psychologist and you study this stuff, explain to me why white folks are committing so much more crime. Explain that. Explain why they have a history of doing terrible things to the freedmen and our ancestors in America, and it has not relented. Explain why. Just explain why they have the highest crime rate. That's what I wanted you to explain.
They have the highest crime rate. They have the highest prison population, even till today. From the early 1900s till this day, they still maintain the highest prison population. Regardless of what they're saying about black people committing the most crimes, they take up the majority of the prison, the prison space in the United States. That's an actual fact. That's an actual fact. Like we said before, you citing the Equal Justice Initiative and what's the people that do that work with people to do the exonerations? What's the name of that organization? We were just talking about them. The Equal Justice Initiative and the other one. The Innocence Project. Mm-hmm. Black people make up the majority of the wrongful convictions in this country, and they make up the majority of the exonerations in this country.
That's right.
Yeah, you use your psychology background to try to figure out why that they committed so much racial violence against us. Why do they target us for that the whole time? It's like, you don't use your degree for any good. You use it to indoctrinate us so we can be back subservient to that ideology of white supremacy. That's what it sounds like you're using it for to me.
Peep that right there. Put that on the screen real quick. This is from the Bureau of Prison Statistics, and it gives you the inmates based on race. Inmates based on race. It's showing you that, look at this, the majority of the prison population is white. These are the raw numbers. I don't give a damn what they say about what goes on, how many people was arrested. There are a lot of people being arrested that particular data is being collected and used by the FBI as crime reports. These people are giving out crime reports based on people who may not have even been convicted. People that were arrested. People that are arrested for crimes. They didn't say that these people were all being convicted. On top of the fact that white people get away from prosecutions at a higher rate than black people do. Prosecutions that catch black people and incarcerate them, white people can walk from some of those kinds of things in a way that black people can't. And at the same time, even though they can walk more than black people away from prosecution, they still make up the largest prison population. That tells you something.
That's right.
Man, come on.
And so, the guy, he disqualified himself off rip, and you can hear the typical, there's certain things that these people do. I've watched them for years, right? The number one rule to their argument is the steamroll process. I'm going to try to just overtalk everybody, because I feel if I can just overtalk everybody with nonsensical psychobabble and make it seem or appear as if I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to convince some people, something he would never do up here. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was, trying to work my way into, or our way, I should say, into crushing them. Usually, we go at them, these people, real hard. So I was trying to be a little easy this time. There's people in the chat that want. I was about to put the link in again before Logic jumped on, but I mean, we can't let them get away with this. And let me say real quick, fellas, right? These people that's pushing black conservatism is a problem. I gotta pull this up, man. This is from Kwame Brown's page, right? So this is a conference that Kwame Brown is having. The Truth About COVID-19 press conference. So you got Tony X, who I don't know none of these people besides Angela Stanton King and Dr. Stella Emanuel. And I'm going to tell y'all how we remember how we know her, right? So, and I'm looking, and all of these people are Black conservatives, and none of them are epidemiologists that I'm aware of. They have no studies. Just because a person is a doctor or a nurse doesn't mean that they are proficient in the study of virology and, you know, pathogens, et cetera, et cetera. It just doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that. And if you have an agenda as a right-winger who politicized the damn virus in the first place, which is the reason why over 600,000 Americans have died, then it's people, some of the people we know them. Some entertainers we know have died. Kelly, what's her name? The singer. What's
Kelly
her name?
Price.
Kelly Price. Just, you know, it was all over the internet the past week. Where's Kelly Price? Is she missing? She knows she was in the house recovering from COVID, because people are listening to these idiots like these people on the screen about this COVID-19 virus. Well, and I want y'all to go in, but I got to share one more thing real quick about this Dr. Stella Emanuel. I don't know if y'all remember this crackpot woman right here, but let me pull this article up real quick, because this chick is bugged out and Trump was retweeting her. And this is, let me say why we are a conundrum.
I remember her.
Yeah, right? We are a conundrum, because they like, damn, these dudes is not Democrats. They not liberals. They not lefty. So I really don't even know how to come at them. That's why the dude tried to say that the papers was left-leaning. We don't care. Is it factual? Is when I research what they're saying, can it be backed up by historical reference, precedent, and does the data in their article, can it be supported by research done by whatever groups that they're citing? These are things that anybody can go look up for themselves. Point blank, period. Okay, so let's get into this chick. Remember, she's on the flyer for the COVID-19 thing. She's a crackpot. Trump's new favorite COVID doctor believes in alien DNA, demon sperm, and hydroxychloroquine. Notice that I want people pay attention. Notice they're not talking about hydroxychloroquine anymore. They're talking about ivermectin, which is a horse dewormer. These people are bugged out. They're crazy. A horse dewormer that they're taking to fight COVID. It'll be something else next month, something else the month after that, anything but the vaccine. But guess who got the vaccine? Most Republican politicians got the vaccine. You know who else got the vaccine? Donald Trump. Donald Trump went in front of his people, what was this, a month and a half ago, and told them to take the vaccine. And they started booing. And then he was like, look, you don't got to take it. It's your right. You have the freedom to not take it, when only after they started booing him, because he knows the seriousness of this damn virus.
That's crazy.
Right?
So they was booing their own leader?
Yep. And then he had to switch it up. Y'all can do what y'all want. You have the freedom to do what you want. So let's see. Emanuel, this chick is crazy. Before Trump and his supporters embrace Emanuel's medical expertise, though, they should consider other medical claims Emanuel has made, including those about alien DNA and the physical effects of having sex with witches and demons in your dreams. Emanuel, a pediatrician and a religious minister, has a history of making bizarre claims about medical topics and other issues. She has often claimed that gynecological problems like cysts and endometriosis are in fact caused by people having sex in their dreams with demons and witches. This is who they're going to have on a conference, these Black conservatives, to talk about the virus. She alleges alien DNA is currently used in medical treatments, and that scientists are cooking up a vaccine to prevent people from being religious. People fell out of religion for over the past 20 years. What the hell is she talking about? And despite appearing in Washington, D.C. to lobby Congress on Monday, she has said that the government is run in part not by humans, but reptilians and other aliens. So I guess they wasn't there when Trump was the president. The reptilians and aliens, I guess they wasn't running with Trump at the time. He was on his own. Who knows, right? But I want to read one more quick line, right? She said this. She alleges alien DNA is currently used in medical treatments. Well, you want to know whose DNA is used in a lot of medical treatments and a lot of other things? Henrietta Lacks's DNA is. A black woman's DNA is used in these things. Come on, man. Go ahead, Brother Logic.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
Yo, if my Wi-Fi start acting up, just read the rest of this. But this goes back to the other brother that just came on. And like, we're looking at real studies, people who put in real work, real sacrifice, and real time to flesh out the truth and the matter of this. So like, he don't understand the impact of and the consequences of the freedmen's life through this country and how it's tailored the criminal justice system in such a way, right? So he probably doesn't understand presumption of guilt, right? And he probably has never referenced the Perry versus or looked at the Perry versus New Hampshire ruling, which ultimately got like eyewitnesses to be like considered invaluable and faulty, you know what I mean, because of the amount of eyewitnesses that is connected and rooted into lynching, which would be the only kind of evidence people had to, you know, indict and ultimately convict freedmen and black folks, right? Eyewitnesses that got thrown out because we always been targeted. You know what I'm saying? So if you just look at this presumption of guilt and what it's all about and what it's rooted in, see, this is why being a freedman and knowing your freedman history is so important. But we got you. So we just gonna read through this real quick. And if I mess up, y'all just take it. If my Wi-Fi shut down. So racial disparities in our criminal justice system are a legacy of our history of racial injustice. Black men are nearly 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than white men. They got Latinos and natives. They just went ahead and, you know, did the everything for everybody thing. But the information is real important here, right? The Bureau so black men are 6 times more likely, even though we're not even close to half the population of white folks. We're 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than white folks. The Bureau of Justice Statistics projected in 21. See, that's called citing a source. The Bureau of Justice Statistics, not I'm a psychologist, right? In 2021, that 1 of every 3 black boys and 1 of 6 Latino boys born that year will go to jail or prison if trends continue. These racial disparities are rooted in a narrative of racial difference. The belief that black people, well, see, black is like freedmen is what they really talking about, but it's been, you know, aggregated into this blackness, right? The belief that black people were inferior. Read the bloody shirt, y'all. Y'all gonna get all the backstory on how these narratives were created, when they were created, and all of that. The belief that black people were inferior that was created to justify the enslavement of black people. That belief survived the formal abolition of slavery and evolved to include the belief that black people are dangerous criminals. During the decade of racial terror lynchings that followed enslavement, white people defended the torture and murder of black people as necessary to protect their property, families, and the way of life from black criminals, right? Same narrative persists today. The presumption of guilt and dangerousness assigned to African Americans has made minority communities, freedmen communities, starting out, right? Now we enter the era of minority everything, right? But it started out, get to the root, a freedmen problem, right? They made this for the freedmen. Particularly vulnerable to the unfair administration of criminal justice. Numerous studies have demonstrated that white people have strong unconscious associations between blackness and criminality. Implicit bias have been shown to affect policing in all aspects of the criminal justice system. So deeply entrenched is the presumption that people of color are dangerous and guilty that studies have found that American support for harsh criminal justice policies correlated with how many African Americans they believed were in prison, The more Black people they believe were incarcerated, the more they supported aggressive policing tactics and excessively punitive sentencing laws. Understanding how today's criminal justice crisis is rooted in our history, our country's history, Freedmen history specifically, of racial injustice requires truthfully facing the history and its legacy. Equal Justice Initiative is challenging the presumption of guilt and dangerousness in our work inside and outside the courtroom to reform the criminal justice system. And I would even go so far as says in and out the classroom too, right? Because although we appreciate the academics and the studies that they produce, right, we have to actually be involved in the action that it takes to get these things reformed. You know, I mean, everybody has to play their part. So we can't let the academics do all of the work. We have to get out there, use that evidence that they have produced, that empirical evidence, all that data, and use that and let that fuel our advocacy and the way we go about reforms. You know what I mean?
No, let me say, bro,
but,
you are absolutely
that's how you
correct.
do that.
You are absolutely correct, bro.
Like that's how you do that. If
I think you got a delay. Go ahead. No, go ahead, bro.
I was just saying the brother, if he wasn't prepared, he shouldn't have came on because he knew what he was to do. He knew and then now we the bad guys because we're not going to allow you to take up precious time with a bunch of goofy shit. That's just not how we get down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, say hello to the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guys. You know, but what you said about the academic work, and think about our position as freedmen, right? And I put that up on the screen. You know, freedmen is the legal name of our people whose ancestors were enslaved in this nation. Point blank, period. With no more aggregated blackness in this country. But I want to speak to Logic's point real quick, and Ali and Josh, y'all come in. The academics have done their work. Rothstein has done his work, right? There's a article. I had all of this stuff just ready to go, you know, because we know when these guys come on that they don't have anything. They have nothing. A Forgotten History of How the U.S. Government Segregated America. This was an NPR article, and it was based off of Richard Rothstein's book, The Color of Law, which I have somewhere in here. I don't know. I got just too many books laying around, but it's somewhere in here, right? And, you know, it's breaking down Rothstein's new book, The Color of Law, examines the local, state, and federal housing policies. Like, these are things that can be pulled because they're on the historical record that mandated segregation. So you get a Chicago, and if you've never listened to or read the Atlantic article by Ta-Nehisi Coates called The Case for Reparations, you're not going to understand the Chicago. If you haven't read Richard Rothstein's book, The Color of Law, you're not going to understand the Chicago. See, this is where the academic work doesn't work well for the left.
Right.
Because for them, they are looking for whatever political capital that they can utilize to maintain power. The right, well, obviously, we seen with the guy that came on here, I'm a psychologist. It doesn't matter about sources and things of that nature. I need not verify anything, for psychology renders my my intellect the end-all be-all. Sorry, bro. That's not the way it works, and it definitely don't work that way up here at all. So we have to take what the academics have done and start creating compendiums into small pamphlets and PDFs, et cetera, and we really got to start moving this movement, family. We didn't come in this thing for play. We didn't come in here to grift. We didn't come in here to get thousands and thousands of YouTube. We came in this space to do politics, and that's why we are here, the Freedmen. That's why we resurrected this name of our ancestors because it's on the legal record. I don't have to call myself any other name. Freedmen is what it is. It's already there. It already exists.
I find it interesting, bro, that people were willing to cling on to the slave label with Dr. Shelton and, you know, that particular organization. People were willing to cling. I don't understand why people are so willing to cling to the identity of slave, right? When they know that that particular identity dealt with chattel slavery, not the kind of thing that they want to call slavery today, which is the fact that they have to work within the confines of the law in the United States. And then at the same time, we deal with racism, right? So you're not necessarily free to be truly and fully American without any kind of hindrance from white supremacists or race soldiers or whatever you want to call them, right? But they would choose to cling to the name slave or the label slave as opposed to that which is freedmen, those people who were emancipated from being owned by individuals and were written about in the congressional documents and documented as freedmen through the Freedmen Bureau, the Freedmen's Bank, and other pieces of legislation that have been proposed, etc. I don't know why that's so hard to understand, right? So people are coming up with all of these different, I don't know if you wanted to go there or not, but all of these different names that people are coming up with are really not even necessary, right? It's almost like you're trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, right? For whatever reason. I know a lot of people feel like they're not free, right? And I think that that is a part of why they have an issue with the term freedmen. Like, we're really not free because we're still dealing with police brutality and they're murdering kids and, you know, the incarceration and etc., right? All of those things. But like I said, white people make up the majority of the prison population. Black people are the majority of the wrongful convictions and exonerations, right? So if white people make up the majority of the prison population, that means they make up the majority of the prosecutions. They're making up the majority of the arrests. There's no other way for that to work. It has to be that.
That's right.
So even they still have to work within the confines of the laws and within the United States. So the thing that we're dealing with is a matter of racial injustices and people's racial biases against our people. That's not necessarily an issue of freedom or enslavement. That's something else. That's a social and psychological issue of those particular people that we have to deal with. It's not a slavery thing, right? It just so happens that they're in control of a lot of the things in this country. And so, you know, we got to deal with them. Go ahead, bro.
Yo, to the other point, I'm glad you brought a lot of that up, man. It's a perfect time to get into that, because until we understand who we are, we're not going to be rooted in the right foundation to do this work, this justice work. You know what I mean? Civil rights justice work, right? And for the people who be like, yo, the free, they have an issue with what the actual, you know, factual classification of this lineage group, you know, that come out of chattel slavery, emancipation, Reconstruction, which is freedmen. You know, Brother Ali just talked to you about all the documentation on that. The people who say, well, we're not free yet, so they have a problem with freedmen. There's a few problems with that. One, I would ask any of those individuals who feel that way, well, who do you belong to then? Who's chattel? Are you chattel slavery, right? Are you chattel? Whose chattel are you? If you can tell me whose chattel you are, then we have to revisit the distinction and everything like that. But the fact of the matter is there is many definitions of slavery, right? And what we know without a doubt or contradiction is that the abolition of chattel slavery is a law of the land, constitutional, federal, state, all of that, right? And so we know that emancipation was a real thing, right? You have all kind of constitutional aids to help you figure that out. And so you're not chattel slavery. So you were freed from the system of chattel slavery specifically. That's all the Freedmen thing is talking about. Those who were freed through the abolition of slavery, emancipation, manumission, so on and so forth. People who come through that system in this country, we classify them as freedmen. Just like we classify people who come from other countries of origin as immigrants. You understand? It's a federal classification. And for our specific lineage, all you people loved specificity so much just not too long ago. But now when we bring you the most specific thing, you got all these objections and problems. That's weird. But if you want to be right and exact, the specific classification for our lineage group, the families who come from chattel slavery, is freedmen, point blank, period. And if you're going to do this freedmen justice work, you got to be right. You understand? I've seen a lot of freedmen organizations popping up. You know what I mean? That's good. Keep doing it. But if you're going to be freedmen organization, you got to be doing freedmen justice work. You can't be doing the same thing you've been doing under a different name and think you're going to get different results. That's not how that works. And if you want to be on code with the freedmen, where is the 12-point we need to see the 12-point program and platform on your websites. You understand? Where's the freedmen philosophy at? You can't just switch the name up and think that you're rooted in the right energy. You understand? That's not how this works. You haven't done the work. So you need to get rooted in this freedmen thing first. Understand that you can own, if you want uniformity and to be on code, it has to be centered around something. The freedmen 12-point program and platform is the code, period. You know what I mean? And then everything grows out from that. And so if you're going to do this freedmen justice work, you do need to get on code. And the platform is the code. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Yes, sir. Hey, Naheem, can you bring that back up? I just wanted to read that for those who may just be listening.
I got you.
Yeah. And when I listen to him and when I see people that are like him, it just makes me think, because it is a growing problem. And even amongst freedmen, as we saw, it's not just the Caribbeans or Africans or whatever the case may be. It's also with the freedmen. For some reason, we get miseducated. The Negro of America gets miseducated, just like he was when Carter G. Woodson was writing that book, The Miseducation of the Negro. And this quote that I want to read, it says, "If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine that a man shall think, when you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you make a man think he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, his very nature will demand one."
Hey,
you know what I get? You know what I get out of that?
They took the back door. Well, look, go ahead, Ali, because I'm ready to give an interpret. Josh ready to go.
Let me just say real quick what I get out of that. I get out of that the truth of the matter is you're descendants of freed men and women. You are descendants of freed men and women who are due justice, economic, political justice. That's what that is. You're not slaves. We're not descendants of slavery or any of that stuff like that. You're descendants of a proud people who fought for liberation. Many of them died for it, and who continue to fight in that plight for liberation, of freedom, justice, and equality till this day. You that's what you come from. You come from a stock of people that are fighters. You don't descend from slavery. That's an institution created by the white devil. That's not what you come from.
That's right. That's right. And this part of it, he will go without being told. And if there is no back door, his very nature will demand one. I think about the brother that we just had on Suave Q, and I think about the black conservatives themselves. Instead of pooling their resources, right? They, as empty-minded vessels, used to being led probably right by the Democrats, instead of filling their minds with the plight and the history of our people, they then demanded a back door. And that back door led them from out of the cage of the foxes into the den of the wolves, the Republican Party. And the Republican Party is loving it. Think about this, family. That party is the Neo-Confederate Party. That is the party of the Confederate flag. That's how you could tell that those Republicans of today are not the Republicans of yesterday. Ashley Babbitt was killed during the January 6th rebellious insurrection by the very same Confederates. It came out that she was killed by a black officer. I don't know if he was Secret Service. I can't remember at this time. Somebody probably could put it in the chat, or one of the bros could correct me. But his job and duty was to protect the congressman in the Capitol building. And when Ashley Babbitt breached a secure location, she caught one to the chest. Like she got shot because the officer was telling her to stay back. What they did, right-wing media, Trump, they all started to insinuate about, because Trump was like, we already know who he is. They knew we're going to go out there. Trump is going to say, we know who it is. But our media, he's not going to say it's a black man or say his name at all. But right-wing media went on their podcasts and put this man's name out there. How they got his name should be under investigation, number one. They put his name out there. Then months later, we come to find out that it was, in fact, who right-wing media said it was. So they made it this black and white issue. Forget the fact that she stormed the Capitol. They were building it before it was ever publicly released. The officer decided to come out because he felt that if he didn't, his life and his family's life would be in jeopardy. Let me shine some light on myself. I don't want to be caught in the dark somewhere and I just get hit up by one of these crazed Trump Republicans. If you don't think that what's going on in the United States of America is centered around race, centered around racism and bigotry towards the freedmen, you are in fact asleep. And you asked these people for some type of back door that you can walk through and try to escape the reality of it. And that's what that brother tried to do here tonight. He tried to escape the reality of the situation right here on live with us, because that's what he's used to doing every day. But you can't escape this reality because the facts remain. And like my brother Logic always says, it is a part of a criminal operation, and every day that justice is not served is a crime in progress. Point blank period.
Yeah, and I wanted to say in regards to that quote, the justice statistics, the Bureau of Justice Statistics made the front door. You know, like they're giving you the data that's helpful for us to make our point. A lot of the other economists like Dr. Derry and others, and there was a Harvard study that he tweeted out that I just read, and I was like, man, it kills. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put that. If you can bring that up, I'm gonna share that too. That Harvard piece, because that's also adding some great context in there. But it's this one right here. But this stuff is like, okay, there's a front door. This is helping us say, yeah, we going through the front door. What he's saying is no. We can't be having progress. We can't be having anything that can help us make our case so we can get some justice. We need to know our place and go through the back door. We need to know our place, And matter of fact, if we do that the right way, if we do that in an honorable way, and we don't suck up too much of his air, we don't breathe up too much of his air or whatever, because it belongs to him, then you know what I'm saying, then that's the best way to do it. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah. So that's been historically a freedman stumbling block. We have to deal with all the Uncle Ruckus advocates, the fiddlers, the Stevens, you know what I'm saying, who want to maintain their proximity with good white folk. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, you can't let them Jimmies get too independent and doing things for themselves. You know, you got to keep them Jimmies there. See, that's been a built-in
who's that nigga
element.
on that nag?
Yeah, you know, see all that type of energy. That energy, they was against us then, and they're against us now. You know, we planning revolts and rebellions and reforms and doing freedmen work, and then you have these individuals. So those are a consistent, reoccurring lesson that we always gonna have to identify. But I always want to bring it back to the platform. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when we like, no one has to do no guesswork. You know what I'm saying? This is why we're freedmen. It's the number one point on the political agenda on the platform. By way of the 13th Amendment, in 1865, our enslaved American ancestors were freed from private bondage nationally. Congress passed the Freedmen's Act of 1865 and 1866 on behalf of those ancestors, then identified as freedmen, right? And we ain't never stopped being that since 1865.
That's right.
As their direct descendants, that's the lineage part, right? That's how we tie in. We demand to be recognized by the federal government. But the only way that's going to happen is if we all proclaim our lineage and identity as freedmen. You understand? You have to proclaim that as their direct descendants. We demand to be recognized. That demand is by proclaiming who you are, right? Because it's already recognized. But now once we proclaim it, they have to do the next part, which is what? By the federal government, its Office of Management and Budget, and its federal directive as freedmen, right? Put that back on the books. It was omitted because so many people had mission drift, right? And we talked about how the great mission drift messiahs that have came our way and took us off course and deviated us from, civil rights, justice and, freedom, justice, and equality. Because that's what the freedmen mission and plight was built on, those three principles. That's what we always been fighting for. So you never lost. You always fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. And we accomplished that by doing civil rights justice work, right? But always go back to your platform. A lot of y'all get lost, right? And that's how mission drift happens. But this is how you bring it back into your circle of freedmen platform and program. We did, like, a lot of y'all really need to get into this one right here, man. Let me tell y'all how powerful this program is. See, me personally, I love this freedmen stuff so much. I go this platform and program all day and all night, right? and you learn something new every time. Even though me and the brothers came up with this platform, I'm still learning something new. Look at point number 10, right? And look how powerful this is and how much work, a whole lifetime of work, can be just centered around point 10. Doctors have been to Black women what police have been to Black men. Freedmen descendants have endured the burdens of discriminatory practices in healthcare. And so we demand policy which addresses and treats discrimination in healthcare as the urgent national matter it is. Family, that's a whole block of study right there. The history of medical harm that this country has visited on the freedmen sisters. You understand? Like, there's so much work to do right here. This is the focus, family. This number one is what we all have to be rooted in, and we all have to be teaching this to each other. You got to teach yourself. This is the first step of disaggregating your Blackness from everybody else's Blackness. This is the first step. That's why it's number one in the program and the platform. And everyone starting up a freedmen organization, I wouldn't tell you don't do it. I'm gonna say do it right. You got to start it with the platform. You understand? Or otherwise, what is it built on? If it's not built on this freedmen platform, and we put out the freedmen philosophy, and we have the freedmen civics guide out there, right? We are the united sons and daughters of freedmen all together. You understand? But without the platform, it's going to be hard to do the uniting part. This is what unites us. You understand? So we have to get into this, man. Go to the website, BETHEPOWER.org, download. Don't just read the platform, study it, memorize it, quiz yourself on it, ask yourself questions about it, do research on each one of these points in the platform. You understand? It's going to really, unfold you into a whole new you. a better you, a more freedom fighting you, right? Get into the lessons, man. These are Freedmen lessons. Get into the lessons, man.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, y'all, we have these discussions among ourselves all the time. And, obviously and naturally, we don't share everything that we speak about in private in the public, right? Especially in no great depth or detail. But we cannot have a movement that's splintered in so many different directions. I got on Clubhouse the other day, and I didn't know that there was like this message feature, because I barely get on there anymore. But we are going to increase our presence on Clubhouse. Let me just make an announcement. We started a room on Clubhouse, a club rather, called Freedmen First. Make sure y'all join the Freedmen First Clubhouse. That's where we are going on that app. We are going to be congregating at it. We're going to be building with our people there. But there were messages, right? So in the messages, I guess I jumped on Clubhouse a couple months ago. I think it was from a message from August. And somebody said, well, I'm still standing on 6.2 quadrillion, which means I must have came on Clubhouse and said something about somebody saying something about the 6.2 quadrillion. And I was on Clubhouse the other day, Saturday and Sunday. And I just was going from room to room to room. And I'm just listening to people. I'm just listening. I'm seeing if the conversation has evolved. When you go to our website, right, you're gonna see the evolution of the conversation of Be the Power. When you go to bethepower.org, you not only see it in the political agenda, you also see it in our Reparations 101 platform as well. You see an evolution of the conversation as we gear up to become more politically active, right? COVID kind of slowed everything down, but it gave us a chance to build and bond and separate the wheat from the chaff, basically. And we're the wheat. And I don't, I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, we are the wheat. There ain't no shame in my game. Point blank, period. So
No, sir.
We look at everything that's going on with what everybody is doing, and I'm like, there's no evolution here. People don't want structure. They don't want leadership. So, they figure that just these unwritten rules, whatever those are supposed to be, can be leadership. But that's never how leadership works. Many people are scared to take up the mantle of actually being a leader because of the responsibility that it entails. I listen to them. I just listen to people. And that's understandable. Some people are simply not built for leadership. But, I mean, Harriet Tubman would, during her excursions, right, go to the North with freed people that she'd help free, then go back to the South. I'm quite certain she wasn't just enslaved saying that, I'm going to be the people's great leader, but she turned out to be one anyway. She turned out to be one anyway. And a lot of us are just comfortable just talking. They have no plans of actions. My brothers and I are putting together something. We are never not putting together things. We're always putting something together. And we're putting the call out to those of you who are serious about this freedom fighting effort for ourselves as freedmen in honor of our freedom fighting ancestors, the freedmen. We're putting the call out for you to come join in with us. I mean, at the end of the day, if we don't do this collectively, if we don't do this unified as united sons, men, daughters, women of freedmen, then what the hell are we really doing? What are we really doing?
Yo, and so there's a couple good questions, right? So one, what is it, Babe Rodriguez?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know this individual, but I'm gonna read the comment. It says, is it wise for people to start using freedmen as organizations and they not modeling your prototype? Well, when you say modeling the prototype, I don't know what you mean. Obviously, they're not gonna, and I wouldn't demand anyone tailor their organization the way we built our organization. Our organization is built specific to the way we intend to do this specific work. Everyone is not set up to do what we do the way we do it. But what we should all have in common is this 12-point program and platform. You understand? That should be streamlined through all so-called freedmen organizations. You understand? Because it's the DNA of the freedmen movement. And when we started the freedmen movement last year, we had every intention on setting it up to go the right way. And we knew, we had the foresight to know that this is an ancestral calling and people are going to wake up 1 and 2 out of the grave and start forming and organizing around what is naturally theirs. This freedman identity is yours. We just brought it to light for you. It's not like we own the freedman identity. We are the freedmen. We are the sons and daughters of freedmen. That's why we named it. We do everything with purpose. That's why we named the organization the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. This is a uniting movement, not a separation movement, but we're uniting the freedmen, and we have to be united with this platform, right? We had another good question. It said, how do we implement, what was that, Cato? He says, how do we implement how do we implement these points? The implementation process, first, before I get to the implementation, right? First, we have to focus on the understanding and the study, right? This is not a document on face value. You might read and be like, okay, cool, that's all right, boom, let's get to work. No, we need a thorough digestion and make sure all the nutritious parts of this platform have went through your body, you done processed it, you know what I'm saying, and it's contributing to your overall health of your plight. You know what I'm saying? So like, you got to understand this program and platform. The education part is first. See, everybody's got passion and people get excited and movements are exciting, but we can't fuel the movement like that. It has to be rooted in education. The education got to come first. So before you get to implementation, you got to get the education. Education takes time and process, hard work, dedication, and study. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to study, I don't know what to tell nobody, because you got to get this knowledge down. And then, like, share that knowledge. Call the brothers up. Be like, yo, I'm studying point 1 right now. This is the information I got out of the whole situation with the freedmen. Boom, I done found, boom. Okay, now we know, oh, you getting that platform in your system. You understand? Oh, boom, I've done some research on point 10. And listen, this is some of the medical atrocities that the government has visited on the freedmen. Boom. Now I know you get it. But I need to know, where's the understanding out? We're not just, I'm just going to start sending people to execute stuff that they barely understand. You know what I'm saying? The education got to come first. And then when you get to implementation, we live in a federalist society. So the way you implement what you do where you be at may have to be tailored a certain way. The way we implement the program where we're at may have to be tailored a certain way, because it needs to meet the needs of the people where they're at. But the program the platform don't change. The program may change to meet the needs of the people where it's at, right? And so that's how you have to do it. It has a what's the old saying? Complexion. It has a what kind of complexion is that? It has a I'm gonna get back to that. Naheem know what I'm talking about, man.
Rotarian, you talking about?
It has a Rotarian complexion. Yes, it's all built with the same ingredients, but it may change its complexion where you're at based upon the design that has to be implemented, based upon what type of program you're building on from the platform and how it's going to be utilized to meet the needs of the people where you're at. But ultimately, what comes first is the education and understanding. Without the knowledge, understanding, you can't really dedicate or develop no wisdom, right? We need freedmen wisdom so that we're making the right moves at the right time. So the education has to come first. And until we get the education right, you can do implementation all you want, but it won't be right. You know what I mean? We want to do things right.
That's right. Ali, Josh, what y'all got to say to any of these questions that's going on?
Well, I wanted to just add on to the last one from Brother Cato. And I think getting power is how you implement. You have to get power. And, running for office is a way that you can put bills and promote and sponsor bills into the process to become, pieces of legislation. So the brother Cato, in his running for office, congratulations. I think he's going to get on the ballot. I'm not sure if that's happened, if that's going to happen, but congratulations, brother. And we support him on the next step. But that's how you do it. You got to get in office. You gotta put pressure. We have to get power, and that's why we've been pushing the back home strategy, the Freedmen's Southern strategy, because we need to get power in the states. We don't have power in any state. We're losing power in all the cities where we have a dominant population in, or even a significant population in. Like we was just talking to a brother from Chicago. Can you use your psychology degrees and expertise to see how we can reverse the trend of loss of political and economic power in the city of Chicago? Can you use it for that? Since your psychology also, teeters into economics too.
That's right.
Use it for that. Don't use it to be, fighting against us when we just trying to push back against claims that black on black crime just so they can deflect against white on black crime. So yeah, being the power by achieving political office and moving back down to the home of your ancestors down south, so we can get state power. If we don't get state power, we finish. That's just what it is. You got to have state power.
Even in that, some trolls in that. Yeah, I see them. Even in that, right? Even in what y'all said, right? There's a significant degree of education and understanding that he has to come with that. Because, becoming the power, that's really not, implementation. Like, that's the overall goal, right? Implementation, we wouldn't even really talk about on YouTube. You understand? This is an education platform. When we get into talking tactics, political strategy and stuff like that, that's going to be done privately. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to do it on YouTube. So when we get into the only way I can know people are serious about it is if they show that they really showing proficiency in the platform. Then we can start rolling out strategies and tactics. You know what I'm saying? Because like my brother Josh always likes to say, we're not trying to create a group of people that want to do fire, ready, aim politics. You know what I'm saying? We got to do ready, aim, fire. You know what I'm saying? So let me know you're ready through the education. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll strategize and aim. Then the implementation is the fire part, right?
That's right.
So we got to do it right. And so until like everybody seems to me they want to do like rogue advocacy, you know what I'm saying, and vigilante justice type work, and everybody wants to be individualistic with this thing. But if we all become the united sons and daughters of freedmen, get center and coalesce around the platform, you understand, and then we could meet the needs of the people the best way we can where we at, right? And then we could come together as this freedman thing of ours, as a family. And then now we can start having back channel conversations, developing relationships and things like that, working on the implementation piece. But you're not ready for implementation until you get the education.
Hey, white supremacist trolls in the chat, we do give out links. We do give out links.
I was just about to say that. Hey, the white supremacist troll, Trump 2024. What about black on black crime is in the chat. If you want the link, say you'll jump on and we'll put the link in the chat. We'll give you a quick, a quick
30 seconds.
We'll give you a quick dust up. No quick dust. You got anything to say, Brother Ali?
I'm glad that you joined, man. Yeah. Thanks for supporting the platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what you should do. Word
Go
up.
Get your buddies. Yeah.
Get your buddies and tell them to come through. Drop the what's the PayPal? Tell them dudes to put a little something in that PayPal for us. Whatever.
The cash app be the
cash app.
Power.
You know what I'm saying?
Use rogue white supremacists. Use the Cash App, and let's go. Let's
drop
get
a
this
little something in there, man.
Subscribe. We love the trolls, man.
Yeah, go get Jethro and Jed and them and Ned and them, and y'all come on through with your truck of caps and come have this good old debate with the freedmen, like it used to be back in the days. But the difference is there's a difference.
But they Confederates, right? You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense. Go get your Confederate homies and let's cross swords with the freedmen. That's what we've been doing since the beginning anyway. You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
What you call him, Jethro?
But you know what though? Let me say this. The sentence structure of that last person makes me think it's some kind of an immigrant, because the sentence structure was all screwed up.
Well, immigrants ain't just black, bro. These
I'm talking.
White,
that's what I'm saying.
They come from like Sweden and the Ukraine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They come
Them
over
people
here.
can barely speak English, and they want to tell foundational blacks to go back to this place or stop complaining or whatever. Jokers, man. Jokers.
And that's why we got to ask that same question that we asked.
And we don't do that to them, though. We should, though.
We
know.
A lot of them don't really want to come on, but it's because we kind of did, right? If you think about it, when Ali was absolutely roasted that. What was his name? Nino or King, what was that guy's name? Nani.
Yeah. There was a white dude on with him. Then
we asked him. He was from Canada, because I could hear his accent. But these guys today are not Anglo-Saxons, right? They're not American Anglo-Saxons. They are Ellis Island immigrants.
Ellis Islanders, man.
That's
exactly.
Ellis Island immigrants. And you're not. Guess what else you're not? You're not Romans neither. They want to be trying to link themselves up to some prominent. You know what I'm saying? You're not Romans.
Yo, remember Logic when we was going at them we was debating on white supremacists, and they was talking about what they said, you people never even built any civilizations and all of the greats. Like, then they started talking about ancient Greece and Rome. And we was like, you motherfuckers is not Greeks and Romans, nigga. Get out of here. Get out of here, nigga.
All right, one of the trolls said, give me the link. I'm gonna join.
Man, just get on the goddamn thing.
Just get on. I'll just put it in there. Just jump on. That's all you gotta do.
And put some in the Cash App too.
Yeah, make sure hit the Cash App too. Support the movement.
And then bring your posse with you. Go get the posse.
Yeah, bring all of them.
Go get the pickup truck. Go get your pickup truck and all of that. And come on, holler at the freedmen, man.
Go get your Chevy Silverados and come on through.
Your Ford F-150s and whatnot.
That's right.
Come on, holler at it.
B1 is B1 family. B1 family, foundational Black American family. We all family. We all descendants of freedmen since 1865.
All freedmen. All freedmen.
Yeah, we have American.
And we do prefer F1 though, to be clear. But there's a space for that.
Yeah.
Freedmen first.
Yeah,
and remember, that's the name for those of you. For those of you who are on Clubhouse,
that's the disaggregated version.
That's right. The
disaggregated
version.
Right. We love the B. We love the B1, but the F1 is the disaggregated. We're taking it apart because we gotta separate ourselves from the other black groups, so we know who we talking about when we talking.
That's a fact.
Yeah, first, where you at? We gave him the link, man. What's up?
Word, yo, where you at? What's this guy's name, man? JMO1000. You just said we were scared. There you go. Oh, well, this somebody else. Cool. This the other guy. Trump 2024. Let's see what you got.
No. What I told you. He's an immigrant. Didn't I tell you? I told you.
Yo, look. He got a sign up that said niggas.
He says niggas. Yeah.
But
that,
nice.
Yo, man. Why you took him down? Why you took him down?
This dude is naked, bro. He's naked. And he look. What is he, Mexican? I think this dude look like. Yo, matter of fact, you getting banned. This dude got man tits. Yo, this dude got man tits. Get your ass here, dude.
I wanted to snap on this dude, man. I wanted to crack on him.
That dude is naked, bro.
No, but it's good. It's good. It's good that we capturing that, because like these are the people who want to talk to us. Like, look at that man. These are the people who want to tell us we're not this and we're not that. Man, come on, that dude looked like he crawled up out of a mud puddle somewhere, man.
You know what
you want to tell us, you know what I mean? Like, but he got the nerve to be on here talking about niggas and whatnot. Look at this clown. You see him? These people are crazy.
They had a basketball gut with man.
Built like
I thought it was a pregnant
cream,
female at
you know
first. I thought it was a pregnant female, like lactating in the whole nine. Like, yo, go work out backwoods, dude.
He built like a basket of laundry and shit. You know what I'm saying? Stomach like bulked up homework and shit, man. Nasty.
These dudes is crazy.
Oh, okay, man. That's just weak, man. Oh,
where the other one? I bet he's similar.
Where the other guy at?
You know what I mean? And then they said,
y'all can't tell me BTP don't give you a little entertainment.
Yeah,
crazy, man.
Only at BTP will you get this kind of raw, uncut stuff. Family, this is what you do, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna get that nowhere else, man.
Look what DP said. Look what DP said.
Coming on the troll and your life and health is failing.
Word up, DP. Come on.
All right, so we got somebody coming on. Hold on.
All right. Come on.
Steven coming on. Let's make sure Steven got clothes on first, man.
Yeah, Steven, be dressed,
we ain't
man.
Doing
Clothe
this.
yourself.
We ain't doing
you guys
this.
are animals, man.
I thought the white way was a gift. It's
the same one.
Get
God, this nigga like he's straight butt naked, huh?
Banned from
this
the
nigga,
studio.
God damn.
He had like some panties on or something.
Yo, somebody called the Mr. Potato Head body. Stop playing. You
Word.
Get roasted.
Oh my God,
Get roasted coming up on here. Nothing with us. What's wrong with this clown, yo? Jeez.
Man, it looked like he was like in some type of,
so that's what's going on in their mom's basement.
Facts. That's
yo,
what
make sure y'all follow us on YouTube.
Like,
I mean, my bad, y'all. Make sure y'all follow, y'all subscribe. Make sure that y'all are in our Facebook group as well, man. I put the link in there earlier. I'm going to put it in there again. Join the Facebook group. You know, we post a lot of content in there, and a lot of members in there post a lot of relative content. And I just want to say for the record that we are not connected to any groups that use any types of acronyms and hashtags, etc. We are the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, point blank, period. And it is what it is. Join our clubhouse, Freedmen first. That's right, American Freedmen since 1865. We on the books, baby.
We love our, and let me say this, man. We love our family, man, but those people we got to separate from. There are people who are having problems tearing themselves away from the hashtag movement. And I see it. You still got this special place in your heart for those people, man. Even though they dragged you through the mud, they dragged us. They didn't drag us. They tried to drag us.
No, they tried to drag us.
They tried.
And we didn't budge. And they wound up just dragging themselves.
But I just don't understand how you could hold love and hold this place of endearment for these people.
You know what I think it is, Ali?
I think shitted on you like that, man.
I think people have genuine mommy and daddy issues, and a lot of us kind of grew up certain types of ways. So I try to understand the psychology, and when it veers off into pathology, right? Of having mommy and daddy issues, and sometimes people are looking for mommies and daddies, and we, right, in today's society, strong fathers are shunned, and us brothers that be the power, who are very masculine men, are the strong father figures.
That's facts.
Some people may want incel type of males as their father figures, simp type men, and that's just not what you're gonna get over here.
We produce the purest testosterone over here.
You didn't say incel, did you?
Yeah, incel. Incel. We're not on that. You know what I'm saying?
So
you can stick a hypodermic needle into your YouTube channel and just get you a good dose of testosterone and start working out.
Yeah, the purest in its purest form, raw and cut. You know what I'm saying? Freedmen testosterone. Right. We the same type of people that Huey P, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? We come in that likeness. We come in that cloth. You know what I'm saying? The good doctor.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And so. And I'm not talking about Dr. Dre. I'm talking about Dr. King. You know what I'm saying? The real doctor.
Indeed.
I'm not talking about eating dinner with Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about continuation of civil rights justice work. That's what
right.
I'm talking about.
That's right.
Hey,
so
I agree 100%, bro. And just to Cato's point, listen, man, those ones who are serious, if they really serious, man, that's 100. But I just can't, like, we gotta separate ourselves from all of that and any kind of variation of the name, the hashtag name. We're separating ourselves from that because that thing has proven itself to be the toxic group that it is, and I don't care if there's people in there that are serious about reparations. There's nothing going to happen through that particular thing. So
all right, we got somebody on, Ali.
Go ahead.
It's not rooted in ancestral.
I hope it's not that same dude.
Bro, this person has a shirt on. I can see. Let's see. All right, JM01000. I can't see your face.
This dude is hey, yo, how my man said the bussy. He be calling him the bussy, bro.
Yeah. Yo, get your bussy out of here, dude. Get up out of here.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny though? Why did my man have like 12 ghost accounts on the ready already? Like, did he prepare
on the ready? So you already know what type he's from. So it lets you know that this guy's probably part of a troll farm, and he probably seen Suave Q's tweet. Because when they see guys like that, they be like, "Oh, that's a good Negro right there. Let's follow him."
Yeah,
they're talking the type of talk that I want to hear.
Suave's fault, man. Steven.
Yes, it's Suave Q's fault.
Suave Steven.
Rico Suave.
But listen, back to serious note, and the continuation of what Ali was saying. In addition to that, we're gonna give it to you real. We're gonna give it to you raw, and we're gonna make it make sense because when the acronyms are not centered around nothing that the federal government's going to take serious, right? And so what we're using is things that are already taken serious by the federal government. You understand? And we're just rooting ourselves in what our ancestors already accomplished, and we're just the continuation of that. We're picking up the mantle and the baton in the relay race for justice and running the next set of laps. That's what we're doing. And like once we found out like what was right and exact, and that's the freedmen. We are the freedmen. So we proclaim that proudly, and we urge others to do the same. And just understand that the work that needs to be done, it's not nothing new. It's the same work that our ancestors were doing. And once you, in order to understand what they were doing, you got to know who they were. And once you start Google searching freedmen. Just start there. Get into pull up the Freedmen's Bureau website, start going through them archives and look at those programs that they had going and all of the stuff that was looted and taken down and overthrown. And you will know what you need to do. And what you need to do won't even be a question no more. You'll be like, all right, bet we need to rebuild that program. All right, boom. That never got done. Rebuild that program. All right, boom. That was torn down. That's all you got to do, family. We're not reinventing the wheel. We ain't brought y'all nothing new. What we brought you was this old time freedom justice plight. That was the old time justice plight. You understand?
That's a fact.
We didn't create it. We just continuing it.
Let me post this link in the chat for the family. Yo, this dude is bugged out, man.
Yo, peep what I put on the screen, man.
This dude has just got 1,000 accounts. This dude, I'm banning every account that
he probably not even in the country, man.
Down. Like, yo, this dude is just that's hey, Suave Q. That's what you brought to this conversation. A bunch of weirdos that want to get naked in front of a bunch of men. Like, y'all, come on, man. I thought y'all wasn't.
Cato, get out of here, man.
Wasn't about that. What happened?
I said, Cato. Fuck that.
He said he has a crush on. Nah, we don't do them type of crushes. But this is the link. We only take crushes from women. Point blank. Period. That's the link to the Ancestry.com Freedmen's Bureau. Look up your records, family. Look up your ancestry. I was able to find my great-great-great-grandfather that I could not find on Ancestry.com in the Freedmen Bureau's record. That's the link right there. I mean, we gotta. This is like Logic said. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is us.
You really don't.
Yeah, go ahead, Ali.
I just wanted to show what the screen I'm sharing so that people will see it. My great grandfather on my mother's side, his name is John Thomas. So I found John Thomas in the United States Freedmen's Bureau records right there. So if you see it, you see John W. Thomas. And what's interesting is my uncle John was actually named after my great grandfather John. So that's you know, just wanted the family to see right there is John W. Thomas. It's my great grandfather.
Yes,
powerful,
yes.
powerful.
That Freedmen work.
That's right.
We're gonna do more of that too, family. We're gonna do some programs where we just gonna walk y'all through the archives. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take a walk through the archives. Yo, pull that comment up, B. I'm coming to get my bike back. Pull that joint up, man. That's a good question. I was hoping somebody asked this shit, man. Y'all doing good in the chat tonight. Good questions coming from the chat, man. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I'm feeling that.
I agree that we are
freedmen.
Mm-hmm.
However, we are also the foundation. We are also the indigenous, correct? Let me check this out, right? Foundational Black American, right? I guess that's what you're talking about. We are the foundation. Being a freedman don't change you from being the foundation. We're talking about there is no government classification says foundational Blacks. We're not against that understanding that we are foundational. We like the term Native Black American too because we're native to this republic. But for the purposes of this civil rights justice work that we're doing, we're using the term freedman because it is the federal classification. That's it and that's all, family. It's not complicated. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean none of these other words that you like that ain't good. It ain't good names. It's a good name, but it just ain't. You hitting around it. You're getting at it. You understand? You're hitting at it, but you just ain't. You ain't on it, right? The freedman is the only thing that's gonna do what we needed to do. You understand? Everything else is a good addition, but the freedman thing traces it back to the original justice fight from its inception, right? From Civil War to right now, freedman work. That's what we're doing. You know what I mean? All of the major civil rights amendments and civil rights reforms that was done started with the freedmen, from the the 1866 Civil Rights Act to the major amendment, Reconstruction, Freedmen amendments to the 13, 14, 15 amendments. You understand? And so when we talk about even being native, right? That part, aren't we what would they say, indigenous? Let me tell you something, right?
Yeah, indigenous.
We had an individual, so you're not indigenous, right? You may be related or have some indigenous relatives in your bloodline, but that don't make you solely indigenous. So you can't say I'm indigenous, right? So I can say if I look all over my shit, I might find some indigenous peoples here. Then I got to really look at that, right? What does that mean for me? That don't mean I neglect every other part of my ancestry and just lock on to this indigenous shit because it sounds cool right now and you got a bunch of people rocking with it. That's not what we're doing, right? And then you got to look at your indigenous claim for justice. Like when we talk about the people who say that they're Indian freedmen and indigenous freedmen, their freedmen status come from the United States of America forcing emancipation and the abolition of slavery onto them tribes by American force. You understand? They wanted to keep our family members in whatever kind of subjugated bondage that they was in. And in order for us, for them not to feel the full might of the United States military, they had to, because they sided with the Confederates. All right. Just know that, right? They sided with the Confederates. And so the treaties that were made with the Cherokees, the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, and all the other ones, right? It was decided that just like the Confederate States, they had to adopt similar legal language and like the full right citizenship that they took back from you. The American government had to force that on them. So you really need to reassess this whole indigenous thing that y'all gravitate into right now. You know what I'm saying? Because the only reason why you have a Choctaw freedman is because you had slaves. You understand? They had our ancestors as slaves. That's how you get a freedman situation.
And the only way you got a Choctaw and Chickasaw and Seminole and Cherokee and what's the last one? Freedman, is because the American freedmen, to the tune of almost 200,000 troops, fought in the war and died in the war to help the United States defeat the Confederate Army, which included some of those 5 civilized tribes, so that you can have Cherokee and freedmen in them.
Yes,
Facts.
Because had that not happened, you probably still be a slave, man.
That's a powerful point that Josh just made, man. That's a heavy point. I never even considered it until he just said it, man. That's just crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we know Seminoles are a made up thing, Cato. We tracking, but he just speaking in general terms. We already did a whole breakdown on that shit when we talked about the I Got Indian in My Family joint. Go back, revisit that program we did. We broke out all the documents. We read through the treaties. We busted up the myth that America stole the Indians' land, and we read the receipts on how they sold it to them and got paid good money for their land or whatever they agreed upon to sell it to the federal government. So we busted up all the myths over there. All right. So we're gonna do it again though, because we love doing it, right? We're gonna do it again.
We're gonna address a lot of things. And the pretendians, I was on Clubhouse the other day and I shared a screenshot. I shared it on Twitter, I shared it on Facebook, I shared it with the bros, where they had a room. And Ishmael Bey, I hope you listening right now because I'm calling you out. Like I'm on some drawing a line in the sand right now. And Ishmael Bey and the fellow pretendians, and we got that term from Ty Harper. Shout out to the brother Ty Harper. Pretend
he's a United Son and Daughter BTP member.
Fact.
You understand? Affiliate, family member. You know what I mean?
That's right.
All of that.
So, and I'm looking at this. The title said something like immigrants should thank the what's the word that was used? Like
indigenous freedmen.
Oh no, it wasn't. The freedmen was the name of their group. The 5 freedmen tribes or something like that. Now remember, these were the same people that were debating against us when we started repopularizing the term. They were debating with us, saying freedmen were white folks. Now they got a clubhouse called the 5 freedmen tribes. I'm like,
wow.
So I go into
the 5 freedmen tribes after they tried to come and disrupt our programs, education. Are you serious? Nah, he say it ain't so. So now they run around the 5 freedmen tribes.
It's a fact. It is a fact, bro.
Well, I'll be goddamn, yo. These people are crazy.
hey. After the truth is you either get with the truth or the truth gonna get with you.
Somebody go tell Top Cat to get at me, man. I gotta holler at him, man. What the fuck Top Cat got going on, man? We did all of that arguing just for y'all to reorganize as the 5 freedmen tribes.
What's going on, Top Cat?
Funny shit, huh?
What's going on, Top Cat?
Yeah, come holler at us, man. Somebody go
I'm
call
gonna pull
Top
it up,
Cat,
though.
tell him to get at me, man.
Look, let me pull it up though. I got the direct screenshot right now. Like this is
because this what happened. This what happened, guys. We've been busy putting together reparations, marches, building programming platforms. Oh wow, look at this. This is crazy.
That's crazy.
What that say?
It's time for black immigrants
to
thank indigenous Americans. For what? Thank them for what?
And then the name of the group is what? What's the name of this?
Oh, now this one is the Velvet Door, but the other one is called the 5 Freedmen. I thought I took a screenshot of that one. Well, yeah, they got a room. Freedmen of the 5 Tribes is the name of the room. So that's a different room. This is not the same room. That's Sister Shan,
Freedmen
right?
Of the 5 Tribes.
Look, I went in the room and I asked her. I said, I'm very, very curious. I said, I would like to know, what do immigrants have to thank indigenous Americans for? Man, this chick started cursing me out because she knew. I was like, yeah, whatever. Can you just answer the question? What do black immigrants have to thank indigenous Americans for? They kicked me off. Then she was like, I ain't got an answer to no.
They not responsible for the 1866 Civil Rights Act. They're not responsible for any of the civil rights justice work that have been done in America.
That's
They're
right.
not responsible for the 14th Amendment, where they come and have the anchor babies with, based on the misinterpretation and misuse of the birthright citizenship clause in the 14th Amendment. They ain't had nothing to do with none of that. They are separate governments. They're not.
That's right.
They're not America. They're in America and being dominated by Americans.
That's
and so,
right.
if you want to thank anybody,
hey, what Carter G. Woodson say? What Carter G. Woodson say? Right. You gonna create a back door for yourself?
Create your own back door for yourself.
That's the front door. So you can't come through the front door. As your few ancestors and kids. You gotta in all the civil rights justice work that came before you gotta go and create a back door by being something else. You gotta give all the credit to now indigenous and American Indian. When you say that and people look at the record, they're like, huh? But I understand they're trying to put everything under that name, that title, but you don't understand. You creating a back door for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, so even with the pushing for a what we've come to find out is it doesn't really need to be, the reinterpretation is the problem. If they go to the legislative history and the original intent, it's clear what that 14th Amendment was intended to do and who it was intended for. And it has been abused and misused unconstitutionally by those who seek to benefit off of work that they did not do. And so it's not really that the reinterpretation of it that is necessary, but the strict adherence to the legislative history and the legislative intent is what needs to be focused on.
You know what's funny? The 14th and 15th Amendment has become salvation for everybody but us. That's a little inside joke.
True. That's true. Yeah, that's funny.
That's a little, like, we got, a lot to really break down, and we're going to get into that over the next few weeks. The book club on the Bloody Shirt is coming up on October 3rd. I had to push it back, like I said earlier. For those of you who were not on, I personally just wasn't ready to do the book club today, and that's all it was. Just been zoning on a lot of things, and I've been writing some things as well. I've been writing some bars too. My pen has.
Yo, hey, DP, they got that from us, man. They wasn't calling themselves no Native Black Americans before we was talking about that shit. They got that from us. They was just calling themselves indigenous Indians and people of the land and all of that. They wasn't doing no Native
We
Black
was in them rooms
shit
with them. We was in them rooms, getting it in with them.
Yeah, and my question is always going to be, what is your aim? I could never get an answer. What is it you're trying to do as far as what you're trying to do to uplift us from the bottom, from being a permanent underclass in America, a group that's owed, everything is owed repair. Are you fighting for that? Because now you gotta say, if you're fighting for reparations from the United States federal government, right? Then but you're trying to do it under the banner of being a part of these recognized tribes from America. Then you got to say, well, wait a minute, America actually may not be the culpable party. You may have some claims for damage under Jim Crowism and all of that, but as far as chattel slavery, and even under Jim Crowism, that damage comes from them tribes.
I wouldn't even like to speculate, because I don't know what their plight actually is. So I don't even want to speculate about what they plight. I would just like one of them to come on and just talk about it. And like for Immortal, what's his name? Immortal Truth. I mean, we appreciate you linking out for him, but I'm not really. We done the debate with Top Cat already. I'm not interested in debating him. But if he want to come on and just like talk to me about what's going on.
Hey, wait, I'm interested.
Yeah, that's fine. Like if you want to debate,
we could dig him up. We could dig him up and kill and bury him again. I don't mind that.
But personally, I'm not interested in
debating
them.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm not interested in debating them. I just want to know what they got going on. Like, what do y'all got going on?
Right.
I don't understand their movement. I want to understand their movement. I don't get it. Like, what is it about? Like I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, how I really want to get some understanding on what this whole Indian you know what I'm saying, shit is about, because I don't get what they fight is.
What is the point?
Do they ever talk reparations at all, or that never really comes up?
I never heard it. I never heard about that.
They talk reparations in this sense. If you're a reparationist and they know that you're a reparationist, then they'll bring up reparations. But outside of that, if you just go in their rooms, they're not talking about anything. You know, a lot of that stuff is just based on a lot of pseudo conspiracy theories. They call our great freedmen ancestors. Like Top Caps was saying that Robert Smalls was a black Native American or a black Indian. No, he wasn't. He was a freedman.
And that's why I'm not interested in debating them, because they
American freedman.
They too pseudo. There's no, like, it's like when we had Top Cat on here the first time, it was a bunch of weird interact. They don't even know how to conduct a debate right. They just want to interject and interrupt and act crazy and
remember bring, we had Ish on
confusion
and teach.
Said, what did Ish say? That
the Confederate Moors, the Moors was a
the Moors started the Confederacy.
Yeah, the Moors started.
Yo, Ish, we calling you out too.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question.
Matter of fact, get Top Cat and Ish to come explain this whole pretending and shit, man.
Let me ask y'all a question. Let's just use something that I look like is a comparable type of group / movement, if you want to call it. Let's just say like Hebrew Israelites, you know, whatever camp you want to choose. What is it that they're trying to do?
I don't fucking know.
That's my point. That's my point. I think that it's just trying to. It's just like a club. It's just something for people to grow membership in, and then people can, you know, they can have a pool of people that they can leave wherever they want.
A social
club. If your bottom line, and this is something that I've come to realize maybe about 10 years ago. If your bottom line is, and again, be the power, we can trace that back to 2014. This was a concept we came up with. In 2014, I got the hashtags and I got the screenshots to prove it, right? Because I used to hashtag be the power all the time. If your bottom line as a group or an organization is not political power in the United States, where, as my brother Logic says, what you say? Politics is the game.
Government is the game. Politics how it's played.
Politics is how it's played.
Politics is science of who gets what, when, where, and how.
That's right. If your bottom line is not that, you are not serious. Not to me and not to my brothers up here, because we understand what's needed to move our people forward. You do a comparative analysis between Martin Luther King Jr. and the Nation of Islam, right? Malcolm X. Let's pick Malcolm X. When he was with Elijah. We ain't even going to talk about Elijah. Right. You do a compare. While it's honorable what the nation was able to do insofar as their cleanup program for our people politically, that did not move the needle forward for our people. That's why I respect the series, The Godfather of Harlem, because it places emphasis on 3 important characters of that day: Bumpy Johnson, Adam Clayton Powell, and Malcolm X. And that's what we are today. We are an amalgam. You know how they say Jesus transfigured in the Bible and they saw him like as Elijah? I can't remember the other prophets' names, but that's who we are today. We are transfigurations of people like a Malcolm, transfigurations of people like Adam Clayton Powell and Martin Luther King Jr. And there's a bunch of other names that we can add to that list. And that's just from the 60s, because we could go all the way back to the 1800s as well. We could go back to the early 1900s with our sister Callie House, who was the mother of who I call, and I believe we all call at BTP, the mother of reparations in this country, right? So
let me say one more thing. A reason why I'm not really interested. I mean, we can break them. I'll do it. Don't get me wrong, because we wake up to do it. You understand? I'll do it, no problem. But I'm not really excited about debating these crazies, because like last time, Ali, remember you was asking that one pretending, like, was he sure? He was swearing up and down that nobody in his entire family had ever been a slave, and he's 100% indigenous, right? Okay, boom, right? So we let the man talk for like 30 minutes straight. He going through all this pseudo bullshit that is totally immaterial and irrelevant. So then Ali asked him a simple question. He was like, hey, fam, so what about, he said, so you sure you know everyone? Ali broke down how your ancestors double and double to like, what, 64, 68, something like that?
I mean, yeah, they double every generation back you go. It doubles.
Yeah, as far back you go. So we doing like 60 something. So he's like, you know, all of them, and you sure none of them were slaves? He was like, man, yeah, I know all my people. So he was like, even on your father's side? And he was like, well, I don't know my father. I'm like, whoa, what are we talking about? How you just gonna sit here and talk to us for half an hour talking about none of your family members were ever slaves, and you don't even know who the fuck your father is? Like, what are we talking about? That's the type of time wasting that I don't really particularly care to do and be involved in, because these people aren't serious. They're not serious. The fact your father is going to tell me, you know, for a fact, nobody in your entire family ever was a slave.
And you didn't know your father.
Or that nobody in your family came from Africa. It's like there's too many, you have too many lines of ancestry. Like, it's almost like the best example you could give somebody is to show how Ancestry.com breaks down family trees, and they show you how, like, each generation you go, like, you have your parents, you have one mother, one father. You go back the next generation, you have 2 grandfathers and 2 grandmothers. You go back the next generation behind that, you have 4 grandfathers, 4 grandmothers, and it keeps happening like that each time you go back. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you know 4 generations back that none of those people were Africans? How do you know? How do you know? How could you possibly know? Most Black Americans can't even get past 1870 to find ancestors. So how the heck do you know whether or not your people came from Africa, or whether they were all Indians, or, you know what I'm saying? It's impossible for anybody to make that claim. It just doesn't work.
All right, Brother Logic, Brother Josh, we have a question from the Cat-Eyed Oracle. How much reparations would it take to fix what they, I guess he meant to say, have broken? I'm asking for a good guesstimate. How do we answer that question?
I'm gonna say this,
and then I'm BTP.
I'm gonna get at that one, and then I'm gonna have to bounce. But
all right,
first and foremost, right? We don't do guesstimates at BTP, right? There's no, I mean, it's a waste of time. So the only way to come up with a good, accurate amount is to actually appraise the damage. Come up with the material costs and the labor costs and all the costs that go into that repair. And how do you do that, right? You have to build or construct an actual program and project for the restoration of the freedmen. That's the reparations program and project, right? And it's similar to like building anything else, like how you know how much it costs to build and operate a business. You have to create what? A business plan or a business proposal. You understand? In order to know how much it's going to take to finance a thing, right? And then that thing might have to be reallocated and revisited annually, quarterly, biannually. You never know. But until you know the actual ingredients that it's going to take to prepare this meal, how do you know how much dinner costs? You don't even know what you're having for dinner yet. So we don't do enough talking about the preparation of the program and what programs that we're going to implement and demand to bring about that closure, because there's a cost for deconfederatization. There's a cost for closing the ownership wealth gap. There's a cost for all income, these things. Loss. Right. There's so many costs, but until you talk about the actual program itself, because it's not the money that's really the issue. The government has enough money to do whatever it needs to do. The real problem is the allocation of resources and the real assets and things, the tangibles that it takes to produce the desired outcome. And so once we do we need to be busy calculating the resources and assets. Now, the cash payments to individuals, that's just one component. So if you want to know what that amount is, then you got to be specific, because that's not reparations. That's a component of a reparations program and project. And that's just one component. But the overall cost for the totality of a reparations program and project really can't be determined until we have the actual program and project layout, and we got to look at it and we can, appraise it that way. But with that, I got to get up out of here, man. I love y'all, man. Peace, Freedmen.
Love you too, brother Logic. Peace.
Love, brother.
Yo, brother Josh, did you want to respond? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
bro.
I just wanted to add.
In a minute after Ali.
Yeah, no doubt. I just wanted to add that, we know that one of the chief aims of a program for reparations should be to eliminate the gulf in wealth between the freedmen and white America, because those are the two groups that was here in America for the longest, and that's when the main issues surrounding creating the wealth gulf was what happened, and those are the two groups, right? So that should be one of the main aims of a reparations program, and Dr. Sandy Darity at a baseline said that will probably cost, it's going to be in the tens of trillions. So anywhere from, I don't know if he's up, I can't remember, he updated the number, 14 trillion or something like that.
That's one component. Remember what?
Yeah, and that's just to close the wealth gap. That's not saying how much the program should cost. That's just the baseline, what one of the aims of the program. So to the wealth gap between us and the freedmen and the European or white Americans at the mean, which means you take the average white household and average black household, and then we see what it would take to close that, and you add up all the households, and you come up with an estimate of what it would take to make us have this, not bring white wealth down to our wealthlessness, but no, bring our level of wealth up to what white wealth is, and that number he estimates to be around 14 trillion, I believe.
Yep. And that's how we have to look at reparations. We cannot, I'm going to always go at these dudes that I see on these videos talk about 6.2 quadrillion. The reparations is going to cost 6. You stop it. Just stop it. Because if I asked you to give me a line item breakdown of this 6.2 quadrillion, you're not going to be able to. And if you're going to cite a number like that, you should be ready to break down 6.2 quadrillion. To break down the $14 trillion, well, that's easy, because what we're doing is we're taking the total population of freedmen and we're contrasting that with the gulf between black and white wealth, which is around $850,000. This is the math that the economists have already done. In particular,
and let me add. This is go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I just want to add that's 2016 dollars, right? So because that's when a lot of the data was based on. So
well, I don't know. I think this update for 14 is more recent, bro.
Oh well, what I'm saying is like when you say 2016 dollars, that means what the value of the money would be if you had that same amount in 2016, because inflation happens, and so the actual total is going to increase because the value of money the power of the money is decreasing, so you need more of it. So from in 2016 dollars, just keep in mind moving forward, it should be 20 trillion, it should be 16 trillion, it should be this trillion. It's going to always go up as time goes on. It's always going to go up as time goes on because the money weakens, so you need more of it. So just don't get so fixated on this amount. Look, we got the damages. We know what the wealth gap is. The dollar figure is going to always go up and down depending on the value of the money, and usually it's going to go up. But it's going to, at the end of the day, the value that we need to receive is going to be not going to change. It's just the actual total is going to go up and down. And that's not even the total cost of the program.
Right. I was going
There's
to say
a difference between a cost and the result that you want to happen. Like to the cost of the program to close the wealth gap is going to be more than it is to pay us, to transfer those assets to us, because it costs a lot to do that. And that's just the closing the gap part. That's not any of the other issues that we need to address with the reparations program.
That's right. And we got to look at this thing as a program. That's why Dr. Darity came up with the term pure reparations, because he had to distinguish, and that's what we do here at Be the Power, distinguish between what people are calling reparations, because now anything can be reparations. AOC said Hispanic immigrants who were housed in cages at the border should be paid reparations. This term wasn't in her lexicon prior to its being popularized by the Freedmen. It just wasn't. Now, all of a sudden, the people at the border who were put in cages need reparations, right? So Evanston is giving away some type of housing grants. I want to call it. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. That's what it seems like to me. They're calling that reparations. That's not reparations at all, in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And so the term pure reparations had to, become a part of our lexicon, because pure reparations entitles a whole program. The Civil Liberties Act of 1989, that was reparations, but you don't see the word reparations in that bill at all. And yet each Japanese American received, what was it, Josh, 20,000 for their harms that they received?
Yeah,
something like
20,
that,
000.
right? 20,000. It wasn't as egregious as the harms that we faced generationally. They faced an in the moment harm. Imagine getting shot in your leg. You're never able to really work. Then you have a son, you have children, you have a son. He gets shot in his leg by the descendants of the same perpetrators. Then he has a son and he gets shot in his leg. This is generational harms that we're dealing with. And as those generations go by, what's owed to us gets compounded with interest on it. This is why we get an evaluation, a baseline evaluation, insofar as closing the racial wealth gap is concerned, at around approximately, right? We got to use those terms, 14 trillion. We don't want to just throw out random numbers like 20 trillion. Because it's about closing the racial wealth gap, right? And that's just with one element of reparations, the direct payments. There's still college. There's still a whole bunch of things. We should be able to go to college for free. For free. We should be able to have programs instituted so that we can begin the relocation of our people who are in the North, who are facing way worse segregation and racism than is here in the South, and bring them back here. Go to bethepower.org. Look at our list of demands. If you look at what we're doing, you're able to figure out how we're trying to move certain elements of this reparations push. It's quite simple if you just open your eyes. Everybody, I don't know, man. People are just scattered, and I don't want to get into that part of it. We kind of talked about it, but even income. Let me just say this. Y'all have seen us pull up articles here on Be the Power that shows that it will take 228 years for the freedmen to catch up to white wealth via income alone. This should show you how important a reparations program, the totality of what reparations is, especially for us, is supposed to entail. Yes, it's complex, but this is why the academics have written books like this one right here. Let me hold it up, because we always tout this book and its authors, Dr. Sandy Darity and A. Kirsten Mullen, as opposed to just, people that just get on YouTube or on Clubhouse and just talk all day. See, the academics have given us the breakdown via the complexity of reparations in a way that by the time you get to the last 2 chapters of the book, that which was at first complex before you opened the book has become blatantly and obviously clear, period. So, family, we we wanted to get on tonight. I did not expect to be on here for 2 hours and 39 minutes. I actually expected to be on here for an hour and a half, but the conversation got so good. We had Suave Q Pill, or Suave Q. His name is the Q Pill on Twitter. Come on with his black bootstrapperisms, trying to blame black people for problems that white people have caused, trying to call us the victims. That's extremely narcissistic, to see people get victimized historically and then say, stop playing the victim. This is why we will debate anybody that Kwame Brown can bring up on his platform, those black Republicans that want to deal with, or black conservatives that want to deal with, what is it called, Josh? The zones, opportunity zones. Come on,
zones.
come through, be the power, and have the debate. If it's about, we should listen to Candace Owens and Angela Stanton King and the crackpots like that nurse, then you too should give ear and listen to us. We're not gonna let our people jump out of the frying pan, which is the Democratic Party, into the fire, which is the Republican Party. We're gonna fight against that, and we don't care who it is. We don't care who you are. Y'all can't mess with us. Point blank, period. Y'all can't. None of you. Brother Josh, you got anything you want to say before we get off of here? Oh, we lost Brother Josh. All right, look. So, book club for the Bloody Shirt is going to be October 3rd. Make sure y'all tune in. Like I said earlier, me personally, I just was not ready. And that's a powerful book, and it just needs a little more attention that I've been able to give to it from the time that we made the announcement. But 2 weeks from now, I'll have everything down packed. Brother Josh he been going in on the book in our inbox. It is what it is. That book it's crazy. It details white supremacy in the legislation. It's not like white supremacy is something that black people made up in their heads, Mr. Psychology studier Suave Q. No, it's in the legislation. They say in their speeches that they are trying to preserve white supremacy. And so they legislated things a certain way so that they could preserve white supremacy. And we are seeing the ill effects of white supremacy up until this day. Join the organization. Go to BeThePower.org. Become a subscriber to become a subscriber to our email list on BeThePower.org. Go to USADOF.org. We will be having membership applications up soon. Things are just running kind of slow. We just want to make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, and we're gauging where everybody is at so we can know who we're going to rock with and who we're not going to rock with as we move forward. right? We want to rock with everybody, but some people just are not serious. And so we as a group are making the assessment on who is serious and who is not while we put together the things that we are putting together. We are basically in a deliberation process right now. So, you know, like I'm coming to get my bike said, white supremacy is their language. And yes, definitely go back, check it out on the playback. Remember earlier I told y'all, check out our sisters Riri. If you are in the tri-state area, she has a restaurant called the Lobster Queen. I mean, the sister chefs up something crazy. You could get your food via Uber Eats. Go to her website. Did I close the website? I always do that. I think it's the lobsterqueen.com if I'm not mistaken. But for those of you that are familiar with the channel and the platform and follow us on Facebook, hit up our sister Riri so that you could get connected with the sister. Get your seafood from our sister. She throws down. At times I'll be looking at them dishes, man, and I'll be questioning my veganism. I can't lie to y'all. And I'll be vegan 8 years. Yeah, 8 years next month. So it is what it is. So, family, I leave y'all with the motto of the platform, and that is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.